The following broadcast is a presentation of CUTV Sports.
In their 3 meetings in team history, the California Vulcans have gone a perfect 3-0 against the Shepherd Rams. Today look to extend that mark to 4-0 in the NCAA Division II National Quarterfinals. Joe, we're at Addison Stadium, Hepner Bailey Field today. California beat Southern Connecticut State last week, and they're still alive in the NCAA Division II playoffs, making noise for the first time in team history.
Now, both these teams, they got here by a little different path. They both had the first round byes by being the 1 and 2 seeds respectively. Obviously, California hosting because they were the 1 seed, but California 43-7 is just housing of the Southern Connecticut State Owls, in which they held a running back in Jerome Freeman, a 1,900-yard rusher on the season. They held him to about 60 yards. And then Steve Armstrong, a 3,000-yard passer in the quarterback department, they held him under 200 yards, and they picked them off one time, no touchdown passes. So California, they came out ready to play. I was interested to see how they would respond due to the fact it was Thanksgiving. It was an odd week for them, so it was a little different. And then Shepherd, on the other hand, they came into a game. They got into a shootout with IUP by completing only 8 passes in that game. So to give you an idea what happened, IUP played 3 consecutive games on the road, 4 out of 5 away from their home field. Shepherd, on the other hand, back-to-back bye weeks. They did not play the last week of the regular season, and they earned the bye by being the 2 seed. So that really, they came in rested, and you can see it if you watch game film. We're going to see some highlights later in which that offensive line just opened up big holes. IUP was without some defensive starters. It's going to be a much different game. They're not going to be ready for what they're going to see today.
Yeah, clearly looking at that bracket, these two teams, the freshest in the Northeast region, the PSCC champion Vulcans and the WVIAC champion Shepherd Rams. Starting with the Shepherd Rams and some keys to victory for them in today's game. We see such a predicament right there. That refers to their 2 running backs, clock control, and then make this game count. Going back to the running backs, Joe, in such a predicament, that's a little play on words for their second running back, Jimmy Such. Earlier this season, California takes on Slippery Rock and see 2 outstanding running backs in Ryan Laymeyer and Corey Manful. Today, it's Dervin Wallace and Jimmy Such, the second back, who filled in nicely last week in Wallace's absence.
Well, it's the same situation. Both seniors, or a senior and a freshman, Wallace the senior, Such the freshman. And what happened, Dervin Wallace, this guy is the number 2 rusher in the nation at 2,087 yards on the season. This guy can get it done, even though he's small. He's 5'6", 177 pounds, which I'm interested to see how he reacts against this big, strong defense from California. Jimmy Such, a guy, a freshman, they both rushed for 100 yards in last week's game. For Wallace goes out with an injury. Now, some reports were it was cramps. I saw another report said it was a hamstring injury. So I'm interested to see today, whether it's the hamstring or whether it was just cramps, how ready he is to go. If you're not 100% against this Cal D, it might be a long day for him.
Yeah, and regardless, Joe, of their skill, they're smaller backs. I don't know how they'll fare against this defense today. Manful, a little bit bigger guy than Wallace and Such both. Now, moving along to clock control. Last week, California, 35 of the 60 minutes, Vulcans had the ball against Southern Connecticut State. Shepherd needs to turn that around today and try to hold on to it. If they're to be successful, they want to control this game themselves and not allow the Vulcans to make the pace.
Well, they do. Shepherd's a team that averages 33 minutes plus in time of possession per game, mainly due to the fact that they run the ball. Tyler Lazier, the quarterback's only completed 110 passes this season, under 10 per game. That's in 12 games. Under 10 completions per game for the quarterback. So their strength obviously is the run. Cal's run strength is the run defense, pass defense, really any defense. But holding on to the ball, controlling the clock is what they want to do. Head coach Monty Cater was quoted in an interview this week as saying, if we have to throw the ball 30 times a day, we're playing into their hands, and we're probably not going to be victorious.
Yeah, and the last thing for Shepherd, it's, we always throw one of those mental keys out there. The number one thing for them is they want to make today's count. I mean, this is their last chance maybe to get it done this season. They come up to Addison Stadium. This is a different environment to them. They're not used to winning on the road. They've taken care of the playoffs at home so far this season. They really got to leave it all on the field today to be successful.
Well, this is a team making their 5th appearance in the NCAA tournament, 3rd regional championship game, 2nd consecutive year they're in that game. They lost 24-21 to Bloomsburg last year. They've never won a regional championship game. They haven't moved on to that, what I want to call national spotlight. This is the regional spotlight. Next week is the National Spotlight. They've never made it there. Yes, they have the experience, and can that help them being here last year? Yes. But does it matter against this California team? I don't know. They have the coaching staff that's been there before, and the players have really bought into it, and they're listening and really learning from their coaching staff.
And I'll tell you, we can really feel the energy starting to come into this place. It's getting louder and louder here by the second at Addison Stadium. Let's look at your California Vulcans keys. The Dane train is in motion. Obviously, we need to talk about the running back, Dane Williams, for California's success today. Don't bite. That refers to the California linebackers. And lastly, appreciate Adamson. That's what I just alluded to. The atmosphere today should be glorious. First, the Dane train in motion. Dane Williams, he gets better every week, Joe. I don't know what it is. But, in Brandon Lombardi's absence, I think, I hate to say it, they miss him, but he's an afterthought with Williams' performance in filling in this season.
Well, Dane Williams, a guy, look, 3 starts each of the last 3 weeks. He had the bye week in there. This is a guy who is now comfortable with the offense. We really saw it last week against Southern Connecticut State. He had 35 carries, 234 yards, and a pair of touchdowns, and he came out with a considerable amount of time left in the fourth quarter. Wendell Brown came in, did a great job at a 47-yard touchdown run, had 60-plus yards on the game. So for Dane Williams, a guy, he's 139 yards away from 1,000 with only starting 3 games this season. So he's the real deal. I think we were a little skeptical at first whether he was going to fill in nicely or not, but Dane Williams is the real deal, and he is, really the feature back of this offense now.
And the linebackers for California, they absolutely cannot bite, and not so much on the play fakes, which they started to do a little bit last week, as Shepherd's passing attack isn't all that potent, but I'm more worried about the counters up the middle. Every time, who am I thinking of? Freeman for Southern Connecticut State would fake a middle run and then bounce at the outside. The linebackers would get caught up in the wedge in the center there, getting engaged with some blockers, and then suddenly they're caught in pursuit towards the sidelines. Can't do that against these 2 speedy backs.
No, and play action is the play that's I almost want to call them the St. Louis Rams. The Shepherd Rams really want to run today and try to get those linebackers for California to bite. Brian Moore's not playing today. He had a sister move from his hip, so he is out. Jake Howell is in, making his first start, and he's the guy that you want to make sure doesn't really get sucked up into that line of scrimmage, keeps the lateral pursuit open. We saw Gary Butler spy quarterback Steve Armstrong last week. I think his job this week will be to just spy and go wherever Thurman Wallace goes.
And the last thing for California, Joe, look at this place. It looks great here today. Addison Stadium, you can really feel the energy here. We're probably going to look at an attendance record. I don't know if they'll keep track of something like that, but this should be the most full this place has ever been. There's tailgating the parking lot. The atmosphere is great. If you're the players, come out, suck it in, and then play for the fans.
Well, and the fans are what this team has played for all season. They've been here week in and week out. I see faces that I've seen since all the way back in August, and we're here with this team when they played a 3-game stretch in 14 days. So the atmosphere is great. It's getting better by the moment, as you witnessed. There's flags waving, banners waving, fans screaming. You can't ask for any more today.
Yeah, and don't go anywhere, because we're going to take a look at some highlights from Shepherd's win last week against IUP and California's victory against Southern Connecticut State. And when we return from that, NCAA Division II National Quarterfinals, the kickoff will be right here on CUTV.
That field goal attempt from Tyler Lorenz up and true. So California up 3-0. They're going to hand off to Freeman up the middle. Pulls his way near the end zone, and it depends. They give him the touchdown. Williams, the lone back. Handoff goes to him right up the gut, and he's going to be in for the California touchdown. Fumbled by Freeman, recovered by California. Darren Burns falls on it. And it's going to go play action. California. Ruggiero looking up top, has Nate Force. Comes away, touchdown California. And had a great toss and catch from the 2 seniors. Well, there they go. And there's Joe Slappy, bobbles it but hangs on. So a number 80 in that left end zone on a slant. This time Joe Slappy with the touchdown for the 2nd consecutive week. But they're just going to kick this one away. Lorenz kick has the distance, and it is good. Handoff this time goes to Wendell Brown. Makes 2 guys miss, stays on his feet, cuts it back upfield. First down and more. Wendell Brown inside the 20, and he stays on his feet into the end zone for the touchdown. Again, here comes the pressure. Pitt picked off over the middle. Number 56 for California, Mark Malloy, is still on his feet down to the 15-yard line. There goes the Williams again up the middle on his feet into the end zone for his second touchdown of the day.
Another handoff, big hole up the middle. Wallace has room. Can Wallace bring it to the house? Fletcher is giving pursuit. Will Wallace get there? He is in for the touchdown. Krewatch has time. This one is picked off. Dustin Smith, number 17, has it.
Play
Wallace,
action.
it's play
Tight
action.
end Wallace.
Whitehouse goes over the middle, and it's caught. Caught in the back of the end zone. It's a touchdown. It's the tight end. And it's Such, number 27. Such with a big hole. Left side looking for the pylon. Such reaches for it. Shepard wants a touchdown, and the Rams have it. It's Such, right side. Penetration by IUP. Such is still running, and he's running in. And Krewatch, pressure, picked off. It's intercepted. Intercepted by Walter Govea, and Govea is tackled. 3rd and 3. Such, pushback, bounces it outside. Such down the sidelines, he's in for the touchdown.
Welcome back to Hepner Bailey Field at Adamson Stadium for today's coverage of the NCAA Division II National Quarterfinals. My name is Josh Eachus, and alongside me is Joe Rudel, set for the Rams and the Vulcans to get this thing started. But before we waste too much time, we need to go down to the field for the third member of our broadcast team, Stephanie Mist, for some information about today's coaches.
Hey guys, thank you. Talking to Coach LUCKHARDT earlier this week, he had this to say about the Rams going into this game.
Monty's been there for a long time. He's an outstanding coach. This is probably the best set of linebackers, their defense, that we've seen all year long. They're outstanding. I think it's the best offensive line we've faced all year long. They, without question, one of the quality backs in the country. With Wallace has 2,200 yards in 11 games, so that's 200 yards a clip. They've been there before. They've won and been in this playoff situation for a long time. It's going to be a heck of a football game, and Monty will have them going.
And guys, going on to the other side of the field, Shepherd's coach Monty Carter said, quote, as things unraveled with Southern Connecticut, they had to throw. They were getting their guys thrown down, literally picked them up and threw them out of their way. It's scary. I don't know if I want our kids to see that, end quote. And guys, here's a little fact about Coach Carter. He's been named the Wimbiacs Coach of the Year for the past 4 years. No reason why they can't win today. Guys, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Steph. Yeah, Shepard, all-time winningest coach in Shepard history in 20 seasons there, 140, 69, and 1 on the Shepard Rams sideline. Now we're going to talk about some storylines for the Shepard Rams in today's game. 4-8 all-time in the postseason, 3-4 in Division II, 98, 17-1 when rushing for 150-plus yards under Carter. We'll see if that comes to fruition today with these two backs against the #1 ranked run defense in the country. And that's a big one. 2-1 on artificial turf in 2007. Not a lot of teams in the WIVIAC conference have artificial turf, Joe.
No, but one thing Shepard did, they practiced at a local high school that had field turf all week. On their way up here yesterday, they did not practice in Shepherdstown. They stopped at Frostburg State in Maryland, a college in Maryland that has field turf. They practiced there. So, you know, it's maybe not that big of a deal to them playing on turf as it might have been had they not had the chance to practice and get used to it all week.
Yeah, and that turf makes it a lot easier playing in weather that's this cold. As you look at the Cal storylines, it certainly is a lot easier to fall on this than it is on some real grass that might be a frozen ground. California 3-0 against common opponents in 2007. We'll go back to that in a minute. They forced 2 turnovers and 5 sacks versus Southern Connecticut State for a total 23 now this season. Vulcan turnovers have resulted in points for the offense, and they have not allowed 14 points in a game in 07. Now, going back to that common opponents thing, Joe, these teams each played 3 common opponents this season, and California has fared better against all of them.
One being Shippensburg University. California defeated them. The one that really, the only one that matters, is Glenville State. California defeated them 34-13 here at home. Shepherd, on the other hand, lost to them at Glenville State. Now, that was the week after California had beat Glenville, and at the time, I thought that was going to cause a big shakeup in the Wiviac. But these Rams, they responded well. They know what's going on. And they got back on track, and they're playing fantastic ball ever since then. Take a look at the tail of the tape, Josh. What these teams do offensively, it's a wash. Rushing-wise, maybe a 60-yard difference per game rushing, but I don't think that's that big of a deal for a team with a 5'6" running back. They play in a conference. Maybe this doesn't have quite as good of defenses. When you take a look at what Durbin Wallace did the last 3 weeks of the season, 300, 280, and 300 yards rushing again. Passing, California hasn't done it because they haven't had to. Shepherd's the same way. And the time of possession, anything over 30 is a good number. That's pretty even. And penalties, we saw California cut down on that last week. I think they only had 40 yards in penalties last week on 7 or 8 penalties, and they didn't take a bad penalty. There was no, when you look at it, there was no personal foul, no bad penalty that put them in a tough spot, and their defense is going to get to start off the game here.
Yeah, and real quick, taking a look at the Elite 8 bracket, California Shepherd playing today. The other game that matters to this game most, Valdosta State and North Alabama. We'll talk a little bit more about those matchups later in today's broadcast, and particularly the weather has a huge effect on a lot of games around the country today. And Tyler Lorenz has brought the kicking unit onto the field. He's ready to kick off, enjoying his best season as a kicker here at Cal U. In fact, he is now officially the best kicker in California University history, all-time point scorer, and I believe percentage-wise it's amongst the leaders.
Durbin Wallace going to return this kick for Shepherd. He didn't do it all season up until a couple of weeks ago. I know he did against IUP. And this is something California has done at times, too, stuck their running backs at a return kicks.
Let's see how Mr. Wallace is hanging up after leaving last week's game with an injury. He fields the kick at the 15-yard line, and let me tell you something. He's got a lot of space and a lot of speed. Durbin Wallace is going to take the opening kickoff to the house for the Shepherd Rams. They give him the touchdown, and the Shepherd Rams shock this California crowd early. That's the second special teams lapse this season for California, and it hurts them in a big way.
Well, and I was just about to say we didn't quite get to it there. They kicked a little too quick for me. I don't know if you want to kick to Durbin Wallace. A guy, I'm sure he's going to follow his blocks while he gets lost in that backfield. That's why he picks up his yardage. But on kick coverage, you don't want to kick to a guy that has game-changing abilities.
And let me tell you something. I would not be surprised to see some of those starting defenders on special teams after that kick coverage. We saw Coach Luckhart do it earlier this season, insert the starters out there for some better tackling, as there was really a lack thereof there. And, it didn't help that kick was shallow and Wallace could field it on the run, Joe. Yeah, fielding it on the run gave him the advantage there. He was already at full speed by the time he hit the wedge, and the wedge was well ahead of him. And I don't think that extra point, it did get through, Josh, but for California, they've got to put that one out of their minds. Yeah, Brian Beveridge puts it through the uprights, and Shepherd up 7-0. California is not going to panic. They fell down early in last week's game. I don't think that special teams play is going to suck all the momentum out of them, but like we said, Joe, Durbin Wallace fields it on the run. He gets a lot of blocks, and California, it's not like they missed tackles. They just didn't get a chance at a lot of tackles.
And I can't tell you what happened. It was good blocking, but for California, it looks like they brought more guys down their right side, Shepherd's left side, and that kick return was designed to go right. It just happened to go away from the coverage. And they're able to break a big one there, and I don't think California puts another kick in the air all day after that happening to them.
I don't know if they will either. They may scoop it along the ground, and at the very least, I think they may kick it away from Durbin Wallace. With starting him off with that kind of burst, kind of instills a little bit more confidence in him. It should be interesting to see his first couple of carries in this game and what kind of cuts he tries to make, and if the Vulcan defenders are a little bit weary of what he's doing out there on the field. Now Jermaine Moy and Deontay Henry will be back for California. I'm sure Moy will get a piece of this kickoff. It'll be put away by what looks like number 14. That'll be John Sheehan, who's a wide receiver on our roster. Apparently he handles the kickoff duties here for the Shepherd Rams. And Shepherd, Joe, they might be an undermatched team in this game, but they're certainly not a team that doesn't know how to win.
No, I mean, look, 11-1. They've been in the playoffs as long as I've been following D2 football, and they're a good team. They play good defense.
Moy fields it at the 15-yard line. He has some space now and gets a couple of blocks. He'll finally be brought down at the 38-yard line by number 28 for the Rams. And that will bring the California offense onto the field. Looking at their offense, the Dane train, the great Dane, Dane Williams, starting at tailback for Slappy and Moy, the wideouts. Corey Garver, the tight end. Look for him to have an impact today. And the Gene Upshaw finalist Tim McCutcheon headlining the offensive line for California.
Nate Force, a guy, he's 74 yards away from 2,000 receiving yards on his career. He had a big game last week. And there's a mismatch. The one corner out there for Shepherd, I'll give you his name in a moment. Only 5'8". That's a big mismatch for Cal.
Play fake, Ruggiero out into the slot, has that one complete to Jermaine Moy, and he will take it down to the 43-yard line. So Moy has the first reception of the game for California. As we look at the Shepherd defense, Mike Spiegelberg on defensive end, TJ Taylor, the other undersized D end for this Shepherd Ram defense, and their free safety, Leighton Hirsch. Look for him to make some big plays in the secondary today, and he's going to have to, especially if Joe Ruggiero likes to go to that deep post to Force and Garver on the play fake like he does so often. 1st and 10 now for California. Ball on the 43-yard line. Dane Williams to the right of Ruggiero, who's in the shotgun. He'll snap the ball, play fake again, look out to his right. This one seemed to hit an offensive lineman in the back. I think that one was batted at the line of scrimmage, right over the head of Nate Nurse as Ruggiero looked to his right. The one falls incomplete and brings up 2nd down.
Josh, the mismatch I thought they were going to try to exploit was 17, Dustin Smith. You see that one just batted down. It's a great defensive play there by 6 TJ Taylor, the defensive end. Does what he taught you. You don't get to the quarterback, you get your hands up. He bats that one down, but Dustin Smith, the corner on the outside, number 17, 5'8", 164 pounds. Whoever you line up against him is going to be a mismatch, whether it's Moy, Slappy, or Force. In California, they haven't gone his way yet, but you got to feel it's coming.
And he'll hand it off to Williams right now. He gets a little block through the middle. He'll carry it down beyond the 40-yard line before being tackled by the senior defensive back, Jerome Canada, 5'9", 201 pounds, out of Hilton in Woodbridge, Virginia.
For California now, 3rd down 5. It's a very manageable situation. And, I don't know if they're in 4-down territory or not. I think they might be 10, 15 yards upfield too far still. But, the full playbook's open here. Coach LUCKHARDT said in an interview last week that they really opened the playbook up against Southern Connecticut State.
Ruggiero drops back, looks out to his right, completes it to Perry Ivory, very close to the marker. I think he got enough. And if he does, California's going to be able to move the chains and pick up their first down in this game. I see Rich Eberline coming into the game, so California looks like they're going to move the chains without a measurement. So Eberline comes in as definitely a blocker. Look for California to finally come out of that shotgun and go to an I or single back here, Joe.
Yeah, and it's just going to be the single back formation. And Williams, I think running the ball is to get to the outside. The D-ends for this Shepherd team are a little bit smaller. They're around the 230, 240 range. And, Garver and Eberline match up well on the outside. It's up the middle where they might have the hard time finding the running lanes.
Another play fake. Ruggiero goes to the end zone for Joe Slappy. He was tripped up. The referees do not throw the flag. The coverage right there was by number 24 for the Golden Rams. Again, that's not a player we have on our roster right now.
Teros Harris.
And I think I'm going to put this book away altogether, Joe, as the numbers seem to be all mismatched from what we have here on the programs. And that will bring up a 2nd down and 10 now for California. Joe, they've gone to the play action a lot early on here today. What does that do? Does that open things up for Dane Williams later in the game?
It will, and that'll play that they had Slappy open. He stopped for just a second. I think he thought that ball was going to be thrown back at him instead of continuing to go for it. He wouldn't have hesitated just for that split second. It probably would have been 6 for California.
Dane Williams takes off up the middle, has a lot of space. If Ivory can seal on the outside, Williams will go. Ivory misses his block, and Williams is brought down at the 6-yard line, but a great play off a nice cut. Dane Williams running the ball out of the shotgun, proves successful. There it is, that 2-back formation. The little draw play is set up after the play actions, and California gets big yards.
We'll see what California can do on the ground today. This is one of the best run defenses they've faced all season. Shepherd only gives up 108 yards a game on the ground now with 2 carries. Dane Williams just around 30 yards, and a couple of good runs, exactly 30 yards.
High formation, Sean Johnson, the up blocker for California. They're going to bring Nate Force into motion. Look for him to block, and they'll run to the right side. They do just that. Force seals off. Williams bumps a man off and gets towards the goal line. The referees are coming in. I'm not sure if he quite made it. They're going to spot it about the half-yard line. California will be faced with 2nd and goal.
Watch how tough of a runner Dane Williams is here. He goes into a pile of bodies right there. Boom, stuffed one, runs right off of Leighton Hurst, the defensive back, and now it's going to be 2nd and goal from inside the 1-yard line. No reason to see Dane Williams not getting the handoff here.
No, I fully expect him to, and yeah, Joe, I think his power is underestimated. He has really shown the ability to break some tackles in the last couple of weeks. Here's that full house formation for California. Sean Johnson and Kirby Griffin in the game as blockers for Dane Williams. They go to Williams. He dives over the pile and into the end zone for a touchdown. Vulcans, California is going to knot this thing back up if Lorenz can hit the extra point.
California's what they wanted to do. They wanted to come out, take the ball on offense, drive down the field, and score. Show Shepherd that that was just a fluke on the special teams by us. Something that we didn't think was going to be an issue today. Quite frankly, Jason Moore, considerably better punter than Brian Beveridge, and Tyler Lorenz, a much better kicker than Zach Beach as well.
And Tyler Lorenz enjoying a phenomenal season here at Cal. We mentioned that a little bit earlier, and this crowd has got a little bit of energy back after being stunned by that opening kickoff return for Shepherd. But, honestly, what I'm really looking forward to seeing is, Joe, is Shepherd's offense coming onto the field. I want to see what they look like against this Cal defense, and it's always exciting to see what kind of plays the linebacking core and, those other playmakers on the front 7 for California can make. Lorenz sets for the extra point. Kick is up, it's in the air, look good from here. The officials confirm that California has tied this at 7 apiece right now after a nicely engineered drive by the Vulcan offense in which Dane Williams will get 4 carries for 37 yards and a touchdown. So not 3 minutes gone into this ball game, and Dane Williams is already up around 40 yards. Joe, he got hit pretty hard as he went over the pile right here, but it did not matter. He crossed the line.
I think Shepherd saw that coming the whole way, that Dane Williams was going to go up and over. Exactly what he does, but he gets enough forward progress. The ball crosses the goal line. It's a touchdown for California now, and I'm interested to see what Lorenz does as far as kick-wise goes here. I think he kicks one short to the sidelines or just sends a knuckleballer right down the middle of the field.
He just may do that. And we'll see who will be back. It looks like it's going to be Dervin Wallace again for the Rams. I'll tell you that I almost want to call them West Virginia. They've got the same colors, and then of course the old St. Louis Rams helmets, and they're pretty much their old uniforms out here on the field today. California sporting their black and red as they have all season. Don't know if they believe in good luck or not. They haven't brought out those red jerseys all season, Jones. I don't know if we'll ever see them again.
They're retired. They have been retired. I like them, but at the same time, I really think the all-black uniforms are rather intimidating, especially when it's cold out, too. It helps suck in the heat, keep a little bit warm.
It is Wallace who'll be back to return. Lorenz ready to put this one away. Let's see if it goes in the air. Now he's going to squib this one along the ground, allow those tacklers a little more time to get down the field. Wallace runs out of space completely this time. There's going to be a big hit put on him by number 19 for the Vulcans. That's Juan Butler. And there's a starter right there out on kickoff coverage.
That answered your question about what California was going to do. Juan Butler out there on kick coverage. And Dervin Wallace, very fortunate that ball did not go through his legs as it was very close. See the California defense. There's that substitution on the inside backer position. Jake Howell in for Brian Moore today. Gary Butler, a guy, numbers weren't all that big last week, but he really kept Steve Armstrong, the quarterback, in check. And I believe today his job is going to be to follow Dervin Wallace on the field wherever he may go.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a week or two ago, but Jake Howell played early on in the game in place of Darren Burns, and he filled in very nicely. So he should not be too much of a void back there for California. Butler misses a tackle in the backfield, but it does not matter because Dervin Wallace runs out of space, and now there's some shoving down on the field. I think the eventual tackle was made by Kirby Griffin. He was one of those guys involved in a little bit of shoving down along the line of scrimmage, but those players will separate, and it'll now be 2nd and 11 for the Shepherd Rams.
Well, Josh, everything I heard all week is how big and how strong this offensive line for Shepherd is. Ryan Pope, the center guy, who's been a 3-time all-conference selection. He's very good up the middle at 330-some pounds. But, yeah, they're big. I'm interested to see how strong they were. You can see there California had 4 defenders in the backfield on first down.
Lazier in the shotgun right now, brings a man into motion. He'll snap it, look out to his right. That one could have been picked off, but it falls innocently to the ground. Darren Burns and Juan Butler in the vicinity. I think the pass was intended for number 3. That would be Nasser Muhammad, wide out for the Rams.
Well, and Tyler Lazier looks like he had no idea what was going on. You see 3 guys for California again up the middle. Nate Payne, the safety, Ficaris, the center was there. Josh, and they're really stuffing the box. Even the 2 safes, they're going to drop back now on 3rd down, but you know, they're no more than 7-8 yards beyond the line of scrimmage.
3rd down and 11, not so impressive the first 2 plays for the Rams. Let's see what they come up with here on 3rd down. California looked like they were showing blitz, and Willie Walker waved it off, play fake. Lazier drops back, looks to his right. Man has some space on the sideline. Henry turns around just in the nick of time and bats it down and out of play. Pass was intended for number 10, Nikolai Norrell on the right side of the field, and Lazier and Norrell can't hook up. Joe, this is a beautiful play by Henry.
Oh, it's a great play by Deontay Henry, and the reason he can make it, look at the recovery speed there, just reaches up, punches that ball out. That ball has too much air under it to be delivered down the sidelines, and if Deontay Henry doesn't slip up a little bit at the line of scrimmage, he's going to be back there, has a better chance to make a play on that ball than the wide receiver.
The intended wideout was actually Mark Springer, not Norrell. And this will now be a punt. Moy back to field for California. The snap is bobbled. He's not going to get it off. He's going to try to take off with it, and he's going to be brought down way behind the line. That was Zach Beach, who could not get the punt off. The Vulcan special teams makes another huge play and gives Cal great starting field position at the 25-yard line.
And that's not what you want to do when you're punting. When your punting situation all that good to start with. Shepherd only averaged about 27 yards for a net punt. You don't want to make the mistake and fumble it. That's the second special teams error we've seen today, 1 out of each team. The first one led to the Shepherd touchdown. This one's going to give California the ball at the Shepherd 25-yard line. They can score on 1 play.
In big games, special teams often decide the difference alongside maybe that turnover statistic. Joe Ruggiero has Dane Williams to his left, Nate Force in the slot on the far side of the field. Slappy comes into the motion. They give him the end around. He takes off towards the far sideline, has some space, and a couple of Rams defenders will converge. Number 4, Joey Hooks, comes in to push Slappy out of bounds after a gain of 5 yards.
Second week in a row we've seen Joe Slappy run the end around. I think it went for 5 yards last week, 5 yards this time. What that play does, it stretches the defense out. It makes them realize you're not going to run up the middle. Dane Williams, his 4 carries have all gone right up the gut. Now you bring Joe Slappy and he goes around the end. You're going to start to stretch those defensive ends out a little bit. You're going to make the corners think maybe a run's coming my way. And it's just all setting up the offense for the continuation. As this game progresses on, you're going to see California really start to mix it up on offense, inside, outside. You know, they haven't thrown over the middle of the field yet either. That's somewhere that could be a very good possibility on this drive.
They have a lot of space on this right side of the field, and their big target, Nate Force, is going to be in single coverage. They'll instead keep it on the ground at Dane Williams. He hurdles over the pile, evades a shoestring tackle, and then he'll be met very near the first down marker by a couple of Rams defenders. Looked like number 11 was up there, Mike Spiegelberger, the defensive end. And I don't know, they're going to bring the chains out for a measurement here. I'm going to say yes, they are.
They're just going to mark it right over to 3rd down. You know, ball has to get to the 15-yard line. It's spotted, the nose barely touching it. And it's the right spot on the ball. You can see Williams fell down going sideways. So 3rd down and short. Obvious 4-down territory for California.
And I expect a run to Dane Williams yet again. The Rams do as well as they stack the line of scrimmage. Both middle linebackers appear to be blitzing as well. Williams gets to the line, tries to bounce it outside. He's going to have enough for the first down, but he'll take a pretty big lick on the far side of the field. Coming in to finish that play off was Marlon Hoy, the senior linebacker for the Shepherd Rams.
Just good, tough running from Dane Williams. Again, he doesn't get it on the first effort. It takes 2-3 guys to bring him down. You can see he gets through that left side, met by 1 man, 2-3. It's the 4th guy that eventually brings him down, but not before a California first down. They're not in a goal situation. They can still pick up another first down at the 4-yard line. And you can see what these two teams do. This is a statistical comparison, rush offense. This is conference-wide, California 3, rush defense, Shepherd 2. You can see what they've done respectively in their conferences.
Snap goes to Ruggiero. He looks out to the right side, and a beautiful catch by Jermaine Moy, but he can't bring it in and finish the play. That had been a touchdown for California. He bobbled it, had it, and I think the ground caused it incompletion.
He did. This is a great-looking play designed by California. I thought it was originally going to the outside. I think Force cut off the route short, and you're going to see it here. And I think this throw was just out of the reach of Jermaine Moy. Very close to being a touchdown, however.
Great shot from our cameraman. Oh, boy, that would have been beautiful, but I think
Inches.
the ground broke that thing up. 2nd down and 10 now. Williams will switch sides in the backfield. He'll go to Ruggiero's left, force in the slot on the near side. Ruggiero gets the snap, looks left, and then turns back to the right. He's going to take off up the middle and then unload the ball. Finds Joe Slappy on the far side of the field, and that one is complete. He goes into the end zone. Touchdown, Vulcans. California takes the lead.
Great field awareness by the quarterback, Joe Ruggiero, to know where that line of scrimmage was. He was within a foot of being past the line of scrimmage, and you see that little arm moving behind the back for an illegal forward pass. Instead, it's a touchdown for California. 2 straight offensive possessions, 2 straight touchdowns. Josh, I'm glad we can put the rest of the argument of the offense isn't that good that I've heard from people around the region all conference long. I think they're proving it right now that they really are that good.
And I just want to take this minute to say, guys like Joe Slappy and Kirby Griffin, I'll bet they're quite happy that they're here and not still at IUP playing late in the postseason. Extra point is good. Tyler Lorenz makes it 14-7 California. We're going to take another look at that play in a second. What a job by Joe Ruggiero. We always say he isn't the best quarterback in Division II, but he's one of the best leaders in Division II. And I'll tell you, he's got a heck of an arm, and he's one of the most aware quarterbacks out there. This is a play and a half, finding Slappy on the sideline there in that open space.
Well, you can see right at the beginning of that play how close he was for that to be an illegal forward pass. But you talk about Joe Ruggiero as a game manager. He's a guy that doesn't make the mistake. This is the 13th game of the season, right?
Yeah.
12, no, yeah. I start to get my sports confused. I almost want to say 35. But, you look, 12th game of the season, 8 interceptions. I don't remember the last time Joe Ruggiero threw an interception, and I'll probably jinx him, and it'll probably happen. I'm going to find the closest thing to wood to knock on here.
He did just hit my head, but I don't know if that tells you people anything. And Joe Ruggiero, if he has thrown an interception, it hasn't been significant.
He doesn't make he doesn't throw 2 or 3 on consecutive possessions. He doesn't continue to make the mistakes if he does happen to make one here or there. In California offensively, they run plays that they're high percentage plays. They're very low risk.
Lorenz puts another kick on the ground. This squibber is going to die at about the 38-yard line. That's where Shepherd will just fall on it. Yeah, California doesn't really care that they're giving Shepherd great field position to start. They trust their defense, and they'd rather that than take the risk of Wallace taking another one to the barn.
Well, with the #1 running defense in the country at 50-some yards a game, you're going to feel pretty good about a team having to go 60, 65 yards. Take a look at that touchdown one more time, and then I'll finish that point. You can see right there the line of scrimmage. Ruggiero unloads the ball. Joe Slappy's there, and there's that mismatch against Dustin Smith at 5'8". But, a team that only completes 10 passes a game, you're going to feel pretty good about having to make them go 60, 65, 70 yards every single possession to score on them.
Twin wide on the near side for the Rams to the left of the quarterback, Leisure. He's going to roll in that direction and complete it out to his left. That one into the hands of Craig Tremmel, number 7 for Shepherd. He goes out of bounds just about at the 45. It'll bring down up a 2nd down and 3.
Oh, and what this does, if they're going to roll Leisure out to pass, it takes away the middle linebackers from spying them, taking away anything over the middle, but it's going to turn Gary Butler and Darren Burns loose on the outsides. And when California starts to blitz, you'll see those 2 guys bringing pressure. Deontay Henry there for the stop, but he's just playing an underneath coverage there. He sits back, doesn't let the play get behind him, and a gain of 6 yards. Really a good gain, but at the same time, something you'll take.
I form for the Rams. Leisure under center, hands it off to Wallace. He's going to take a little counter play to the left. He'll be stopped in the backfield by number 48 for California, Josh Zunich. Josh Zunich, a guy we like to talk about, Joe, 248 tackles in his time here at Cal. That's 4th in team history. He's got 28.5 tackles for loss. That's 2nd in Cal history. And for the first time in his career, a 2nd team All-PSAC selection this season. Zunich, one of the most unsung heroes on this Cal defense.
He is. He goes about his business. He does his work quietly. The same with Moore. You hear Gary Butler and Darren Burns more because they're the guys that come off the edge. Not only are they powerful, they're fast as well, but those 2 backers up the middle that California's had, and now Jake Howell in that mix, Mark Malloy going to be in that mix next year. We're going to be saying the same thing about them in a couple of years.
Motion there for the Rams. Snap to Leisure. Here comes Kirby Griffin off the end. Leisure gets the ball away, goes deep down the field. A nice jumping catch right there by Nasser Muhammad. That one gets his feet in play and goes for 15 to 20 yards for the Rams right there. Not really sure if that was a coverage error so much as a nice throw and a beautiful grab by Muhammad.
No, the only reason it's complete is because the throw is so high. And you can see, I don't know what Nate Payne was doing there, just ran right past Muhammad. He should have either lit them up there as the receiver's up in the air exposed. You got to lay the big hit. You got to go up and knock that ball away. The safety was there. His timing was there. It wasn't like he was late on the coverage.
High formation, Wallace in the backfield going into motion will be Mark Springerth. They're going to hand this one off up the middle, and Wallace will carry it for 7 or 8 more yards. Deontay Henry comes in off the corner to make the tackle, and then Wallace, really his first successful run in today's game.
Well, it wasn't. This time it went up the middle. The first two, they tried to stretch, go to the outside, utilize his speed. California stretched the field, and then they came in from the backside to make the tackle. That time they just go right between the center and the D tackles, and they open up a bit of a hole that time. And if you're going to run behind somebody, I am going to run behind Ryan Pope at 6'4", 329 pounds in the left guard. Jeremy Harrison is 6'1", 316.
That's 6'4". That's big for a center. Most centers usually around 6'1", 6'2". Lazier looks out to his right here. Wallace has a lot of open space. Good open field tackle right there by Willie Walker. Creeping out into the flat from his nose guard position to make that stop on Wallace. And amazing that he had the speed not to get juked by the fast Wallace.
Watch how close Gary Butler was to just running right in between that route and batting that one away. And it's going to be a 3rd down and short, and with the kicking situation for Shepherd, got to believe if they don't get it here, they'll go for it on 4th down, Josh. And at 3rd and short, a guy like Wallace has run for 2,000 yards. Do you give it to him on 3rd, or do you throw it here and then try to pick it up on 4th down on the ground?
It's so hard not to give it to him, but with his size and then California's aggressiveness, I don't know how successful they'd be. They will be successful. They do give it to Wallace. He gets the 1st down. Shepherd moves the chains, and they're in the California red zone. So the first drive not so successful, but the second one looking a little bit better for the Rams today.
And this drive much better. It looked like they settled in on offense. That first possession, quarterback Lazier was all out of sorts, especially when California brought so much pressure. They really forced him to make a quick throw, make the quick decision.
Pitch back to Wallace to the left side. Kirby Griffin in pursuit falls down. Burns misses a tackle, and I think Wallace will eventually just trip over himself. Jake Howell may have sent him a little bit off bounds, grabbing at the ankles, but Wallace is down inside the 20. They're going to spot it about the 17. That should be a 2nd down and 7 yards to go for the Rams now.
Kirby Griffin nearly gets to him in the backfield. You can see how fast Kirby Griffin is. When you look there at 6 foot, 6'2". I knew it was 6'2", 275, chasing down a guy that's 5'6", 177 pounds. 7 inches, 100 pounds lighter, and Griffin's still keeping pace.
Springerth goes into motion, slot into the far side. Wallace, little draw play, and then jukes to his left, keeps it up the middle. Gary Butler comes in to make the tackle for California, and Wallace is down around the 15-yard line, about 2 or 3 yards shy of the 1st down.
And this nice little cut back there by Wallace, goes into his block, right back around it. And the one thing with Wallace's size, one thing I'm going to expect California to do is once they get onto Wallace, is they're really going to be trying to punch that ball out, strip it out of there. It's the one thing with a smaller back, the ball's a little bit bigger in his arm, a little more of the pigskin exposed for California to punch and swat at.
High formation, Springerth into motion again for the Rams. To the far side of the field, handoff up the middle of Wallace. Again, a nice cutback by Wallace. This time he runs out of space, however, California snuffs that 3rd down play out. It's 4th and 3 now. Joe, do you go for it, or do you trust Brian Beveridge enough to come onto the field and make the kick?
Beveridge guys only made 3 field goals on the season, but it looks like they're going to bring him on. And the reason being they're in the dead center of the field. If this were on a hash mark, I think you might try to go for it. Instead, they're going to try to kick here. It's a 31-yard attempt. He's hit from 33 once this season.
Beveridge, the 6'1" junior kicker out of Hampshire High School in Romney, Virginia. He'll line this one up. Ball spotted at the 15-yard line. A little bit of range going to be needed on this one. It's low. Looked like it was accurate from here. It is good. And that kick scores 3 for the Shepherd Rams, make it 14-10 here. First time I can really remember in a long while that somebody had an answer for the last drive. And we are going to throw this to a commercial. California leads 14-10 over the Rams. Vulcan offense coming back onto the field after this break.
The Division II student athlete experience emphasizes academic and athletic excellence. From Olympic-style sports festival championships to community-focused partnerships, Division II schools are moving forward with a new attitude. Learning, service, passion, sportsmanship, resourcefulness, and balance. These are the attributes of student athletes, coaches, administrators, and alumni and fans who say with pride, I chose Division II.
There's a university where success is more than a paper chase for a degree. One that builds the kind of character that can help you do the right thing as well as the smart thing. Where core values of integrity, civility, and responsibility are not just taught, but integrated into your day-to-day experience. California University of Pennsylvania.
Brian Beveridge makes it 14-10. The Rams only trail the Vulcans by 4 now. Jermaine Moy takes the ensuing kickoff to the 37-yard line, and that's where Joe Ruggiero and the California offense will come on the field. Joe, you expect them to anchor another drive and take this one right down the field. We were talking during the break.
It's going to take something out of Shepherd. They're going to have to show me something on this drive. The second one wasn't their fault. It was a short field for California to work with. But the first one is the one's got to be concerned. California came back after the big play. You would think they have momentum in their favor, and California marched the field on them.
There's the I formation. Wendell Brown was into the game at running back. Ruggiero completes this one out to his left. Another nice catch from Joe Slappy. He's going to have a first down and a 10, 11-yard gain for California. Joe, I've been waiting all year for Slappy to have that one big game. Yeah, he's had a couple big catches and touchdowns, but not a full statistically sound game. Not that that's a bad thing, but I think today might be the day Slappy breaks out and puts some big numbers up.
And there was someone was talking about this. Joe Slappy, we think he's the type of guy he needs to have the ball thrown his way half a dozen, 8-10 times a game. And now they're starting to give him those looks, and I think he'll be, he's a guy that's really gone under the radar all season.
Yeah.
And a step up, he's going to be known.
And especially next season with Force and Moy graduating, it should be huge to see Slappy step into that number one role. Should be a big-time wideout for the Vulcans next season. But meanwhile, Wendell Brown carries it further down the field for a first down for California. They did not get it on the Slappy catch. Brown does get it right here, and he's bumped out of bounds in Ram territory. The ball's going to be spotted at the 44-yard line, and Wendell Brown remains in the game. And
for a guy that's 6 foot, 200 pounds, man, does he have a lot of speed. He gets to the outside. We saw him on the touchdown run last week. We thought he was going to get knocked out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Then he got back by a couple of the defensive backs. You can see it again there. He just stretches the field, gets to the outside, 5-6 yards.
Ruggiero under center, takes the snap, hands it off to Brown. No, it's a play fake. Ruggiero going deep down the field for Nate Force. Sticks an arm out and can't bring it in. That was a great throw by Ruggiero, to be honest with you. Good coverage by the defender for the Rams, though, and Nate Force can't bring this down.
Well, see the beginning of the play fake there. Wendell Brown gets blown up.
I thought it went to
in the backfield. And Ruggiero does a great job of tucking that ball behind his back, really hiding it from the defensive linemen and the linebackers. They had no idea where that ball was at, but give the secondary credit. They didn't give up in coverage, and that's the reason Nate Force didn't come down with a touchdown catch.
The coverage was Teros Harris on Nate Force on the near side of the field for the Rams. Wendell Brown stays in the game, 2nd and 10. He's to the left of Ruggiero. Here comes a Ram blitz. Brown shakes one in the backfield, and here's that speed. Turning it on in the open field. Brown cuts and goes to the outside. Carries it for 20 yards down to the Shepherd Ram 25-yard line. And Wendell Brown proving to be an excellent spell for Dane Williams.
Oh, it's poor tackling by Shepherd. You see two guys get hands on him. The third one could have got him there. And he just picks up, after first contact, 14 yards on that carry. And for California, I'm not going to lie. I was really concerned when Lombardi went down. And now it's one of those situations that you got two guys back there that are very capable of running the ball.
There might be a running back controversy next year. We don't get into that yet, but you got three guys here that are all very worthy candidates of the starting job. Pass into the slot. Slappy gets another reception on the wide receiver screen. He'll carry it very close to the first down marker after making the grab. That's down to the 16-yard line, and with 2:20 to go in the first quarter, the Vulcans are threatening to strike again.
Josh, I'm really surprised California's moving the ball so well against Shepherd. This is a team that only gives up 16.5 points a game. California's very close to eclipsing that here in the first quarter, and I don't know if they wanted to get into a shootout, but if they do, they've got to feel pretty confident about their chances.
I formation. Corey Garver motions to the right side. That pretty much signifies a run to that side, and they do go to Wendell Brown. He is stopped in the backfield. Tackles made by number 30, Walt Gavea, the 5'10", 230-pound junior linebacker for the Rams.
So we're up third down, very short. Dane Williams will check in for Wendell Brown. Sean Johnson stays out there. And, Josh, another offensive drive for California. They've been doing it how they want, through the air, on the ground. And I like the fact that they're taking shots downfield on first down, confident that we can pick it up on second or third.
Sean Johnson, up man in the I formation once again. Nate Force goes into motion. He will be the blocker on the right side. They hand it off to Dane Williams. He absorbs a lot of contact. That coming from Leighton Hurst, that hard-hitting free safety for the Rams. And Williams crosses the first down marker, and the Vulcans advance the chains yet again.
Well, Williams absorbs the contact, but I think he's the one that delivered it.
Yeah.
He just happened to absorb it on the recoil.
Dane Williams will be back behind Ruggiero one more time here. California can still pick up a first down before reaching the end zone. They need to get to about the 2.5-yard line to do so. There's the snap. Ruggiero dropping, looking to his right. He's going to have to roll a little shovel pass to Williams. Williams will make the best of it and pick up a few extra yards after the fancy play by Ruggiero. He'll get it down to the 6-yard line now for California. Second down and about 4 to go. And Sean Johnson will come back into the game.
Great pocket presence here. Look, the offensive line gets pushed back into Ruggiero. He has nobody on the back side. Williams just shuffles out into the flat. He's the check down. He's the outlet receiver. Everybody's covered downfield. Instead of throwing one away, now you got a second down and 4. You pick up 6 yards. And Williams, a guy I really want to see him get involved in the passing game as well, out of the backfield. We know what he can do running the ball. I want to see him sneak through the line, release over the middle, and then maybe try to find some open space.
And with that, the first quarter does expire. California leading 14-10. They'll switch sides of the field. And California's got to like what they see from their offense in this game. The defense hasn't completely proven themselves yet, but they certainly have plenty of time to do that. Shepherd only managing that one drive for a field goal.
Possession-wise for California, it's just about 9 minutes in that first quarter. The defense, they're going to be a little rested when they come back onto the field for this next possession.
And with that, we want to go down to the sideline to our field reporter, Stephanie Smith, for some information about the Shepherd Rams.
Hey guys, thanks. Cal's been rushing all over teams this season, and just showing how junior tailback Dane Williams only needed 139 yards to reach 1,000 in the beginning of this game. And he only took over for Brandon Lombardi 4 games ago as the leading starter. But guys, Brandon Lombardi had 954 yards before he got injured, so you need to give mondo credit to the offensive line so far this season. Back to you guys.
Welcome back. Waiting to switch sides of the field here and start the second quarter, Joe. Evaluate the first quarter. Other than that special teams touchdown, you're sort of talking about maybe a 14-3 game right now, but Shepherd's offense, they've looked fairly capable so far.
Well, they have, and I think California, they're going to play this game. They're going to keep this game plan into the half, see how it works out, where they're at halftime. They get the ball to open the second half, and then they're going to adjust accordingly coming out of the half. So we'll see how it goes here in the second quarter. And that's going to dictate what we see in the second half. Shepherd obviously has to make some defensive adjustments.
Let's see what California does here on second down and 4. Force comes into motion again, going to be the seal blocker on the end. Williams breaks a couple of tackles, gets very close to the marker. And it looks like he came down at about the 3 or 4 yard line. We'll get a better look at it right here on this replay as he runs into the pile.
We mentioned the marker. He's going to be very close to a first down. And he's about the length of the football short. And so for California, you got to expect they're just going to run the ball 2 straight times here, 3, 4, 5 straight times, whatever it takes to pick up 3 yards. They've averaged about 6 yards a carry here. 6 yards a carry. We'll give it that.
Twin wide receivers on the near side of the field, Force in the slot. See if they bring him into motion again. That should signify a run to whatever side he'll be blocking on. And it will. Williams tries to follow him. I think Shepherd read that enough. California's done that 3 or 4 times in this game. Brought Force in as a lead blocker. That time it was read brilliantly by the defense for Shepherd. Lewis Corum makes the tackle in the backfield. And I think that was just a case of California running the same play too often, Joe.
I would agree with you there. I'd like to see Sean Johnson get his hands on that as the up guy. Just a quick hit fullback up the middle. But either way, Loren's going to come on. And we used to talk about Loren's a little bit shaky. Not as of late, Josh. He's hit his last 8 field goals, 12 of his last 13. And he's set over 70% on the season with 17 field goals made on 23 attempts.
28 field goals on 41 career attempts here at Cal. That a high snap, but it's brought in and put perfectly through the uprights by Tyler Lorenz. So that is now a 17-10 lead, full touchdown for California. Lorenz, 173 points now in his 24 games at Cal. His PAT percentage, 90.6 in his time here as a Vulcan, has developed into the best kicker in Cal history statistically. While we have a minute, we'll take a look at the series graphic between these two teams. Their last meeting came in 1986, California winning that one 34-21. As we said earlier, they lead the all-time series 3-0, and the first game played in 1982. These teams obviously really not familiar with each other. There's obviously no one around from these two teams in 1986, but they do have some common opponents, and they've played. The WIVAC plays the PSAC on numerous occasions.
WIVAC,
so if that's one thing to gauge each other on.
And they were 4-2 against the PSAC this year. Josh, were you even born when that game happened?
86. September of 86 is when I was born, so I may have been but a young man.
I was it was the first game of the year, so guess what? You weren't born yet.
You were?
I was. I was in diapers. I was a year old.
I think the elder member of our crew was about 10 at the time, so it has been a while since these two teams have met.
But Monty Cater was the head coach at that time. No, he was not. He took over in '88. Sorry.
Just short for Monty Cater, who is the all-time winningest coach in Shepherd history. Wallace receives the kickoff. This is a bit dangerous. Makes a couple of cuts, but he'll run out of space at the 34-yard line. So there's some good special teams from California. Looked like number 17, Brandon Livesey, got in on the special teams tackle for the Vulcans, and the Ram offense comes back onto the field. Joe, to at least keep the pace, they're going to need to get themselves into Beverage's field goal range again on this drive.
Well, they are. And, to go back to that kickoff, I understand and I know what Tyler Lorenz was trying to do there. He was trying to put a hard squib on. He wanted that ball to bounce somewhere around the 30, 25-yard line, maybe take a bit of a sideways kick to get past Dervin Wallace. But he caught that ball a little too low. You can see the air under it and goes right to him. Fortunately, it doesn't hurt California.
Single back formation. Leisure will be under center, and Wallace is in the backfield. There was a jump by Fickerus down on the line. Not sure if he's going to get away with it. Irregardless, the play is going to go for about 5 yards. Zunich and Burns come in to make the tackle for California. Wallace again showing a nice cut. Boy, does he have quick knees and the quick ankles, the ability to make those cuts behind the line of scrimmage.
No, he does. And you can see how big his offensive line is. All they got to do is create a little seam for him. I mean, this guy needs a hole that's maybe 2 foot wide. He's so small he can turn his shoulders, turn his hips, still continue to go upfield and sneak through that hole, get into the secondary, into that second level of defense where he's very dangerous and he can really make guys miss.
California puts about 4 or 5 guys on the line of scrimmage. They're showing blitz on the near side of the field here. Triple wide receivers to the left of Leisure. He'll drop back to pass, gets it away quick and complete over the middle to number 89, Ryan Lavin, the tight end for the Rams. Tackle made by Gary Butler, but not before Lavin reels in the catch for a first down.
In California, they haven't gotten the Leisure yet. They've brought the pressure to get there, and they've had guys get through the line, and it's only a matter of time. And for Tyler Leisure, the story has got to be don't make the mistake that every other quarterback has done against California this year.
Don't start turning it over. Once they do, it just seems to really open the floodgates for interceptions in these California D-backs. Butler's going to be blitzing off the end here. Wallace will be blown up in the backfield first by Fickerus, and then Butler off the blitz comes in to finish the tackle. So the defensive player of the year in the PSAC makes his presence felt in the backfield on Dervin Wallace there. Butler, a great player all season for this California team. First team PSAC, first team Daktronics all-region team. That's 2 PSAC Player of the Week honors in the 2007 for Gary Butler. What a season he's had for California.
Well, Josh, how about this? I really thought the matchup was going to be Ryan Pope, the senior, against the freshman Sam Fickerus up the middle, the true freshman up the middle. But you see Fickerus there, he's created that. He got straight into the backfield.
Motion and a handoff to Wallace. He'll bounce it to the weak side out to his left. He is going to have no success with that as he'll be brought down by number 37 for the Vulcans, Nate Payne, the strong safety playing up tight on the line of scrimmage. and he's able to make that stop on Wallace for negative yardage, bringing up a 3rd down and 12. Ball's going to be at the 48-yard line.
And this is the reason Wallace has 2,000-plus yards rushing on the season, is for the fact that when it's not up the middle, he has the speed to get to the outside, get to that edge, and turn upfield, pick up 5, 6, maybe 10 yards on that carry. California, the defense is so quick laterally and has such team speed defense, they get to the outsides, they really take away that ability.
Showing blitz is going to be Nate Payne. Gary Butler blows it up in the backfield, and so does Darren Burns. You can't say enough about Gary Butler. I don't know what it is about him finding space open on the line of scrimmage, but he just blows quarterbacks up game after game. Burns comes in to help him finish it right there. Look at that little stunt move by Butler right there on the line to get into the backfield.
And Gary Butler, a guy that I've got to think is getting looked at to go play at the next level. You know, he's just a man amongst boys out there, even at this level. I mean, look what he does at his size, what he does against 300-pound linemen, 250-pound tight ends.
6'1", 235 isn't bad size. And ideally, he would be maybe a little bit more meat on the frame or a little bit taller at the next level, but certainly he seems to have the field smarts to get it done out there. This punt downed at the 35-yard line, and that's where the Vulcan offense will come back onto the field. I see Joe doing some stat fishing right there, and I think he's found what he was looking for.
Sack number 11 on the season for Gary Butler. That gives you an idea. An outside linebacker with 11 sacks.
And he's one of the guys that will not be back next season. Also, Zunic not returning for California. Burns and Moore will be back, however.
Moore won't be back.
That's right. Moore is listed as a senior. So you're going to see 3 new faces back there, but
Butler,
I still think they're all equally as capable.
They do. Butler and Burns combined 20 sacks from the outside backer position.
Handoff, Ruggiero play fake to Williams, looks out to his left. Moy hauls it in at the 40-yard line. He's shoved out of bounds by Dustin Smith for the Rams.
Ball's at the 40-yard line, gain of 4, second
Josh,
and 6.
a very clean game
Number 17.
so far. That's all I'm going to mention about it. I'm sure you can figure out what we're talking about at home. I don't want to put the jinx on this game. And for California, you know, 4 or 5 yards on first down, more positive yardage. And they've really been making the long throws to the sidelines. They're setting up that ball over the middle. But the safeties for Shepherd haven't bit. They haven't started to roll to the hash marks.
2nd down and 5. Ruggiero play fakes, going to look long this time. Has some open space, and Nate Force leaps at it, but does not snag the ball. He was shoved from behind by Joey Hooks, and a little bit of zone coverage from the Rams right there. Ruggiero found the gap, but I think the throw was just a little bit out of Nate's range.
Well, and you can't see the route there. Force cut it off. He wanted to come back, and then Ruggiero continued to throw on the route that Force was running out to the sideline. So again, just a little miscommunication there. Maybe a little breakdown in the play because Ruggiero had to take a step from the pocket. But it's the right play by Force. When you see your quarterback flush from the pocket, you have to come back to him.
Cal's 3 of 4 on 3rd down in this game. They'll attempt another one here. Ruggiero drops back, has a crossing route. It's Jermaine Moy, and he has the completion for the Vulcans down to the 35-yard line. A beautiful skinny post. Ruggiero puts it right on the money between the safety and the corner. Moy brings that one in for 20 more big yards for the Vulcans.
Right in front of Dustin Smith, the guy that I thought might have problems against these wide receivers for Cal. He's a speedy guy, can take away the inside route, but Moy gets past him and goes over top of him.
1st and 10. Vulcans have spotted exactly at the 35-yard line of the opposition's territory. Williams to the right of Ruggiero. Force in the slot on the far side. Low snap. Handoff goes to Williams. He has a seam up the middle. He'll take it for first down yardage and more. And then Dustin Smith comes in with the hit in the back to knock Williams down inside the 20. So California just continues to march down the field, Joe. As the season's gone on, these drives for California get more and more impressive. They seem to chew off bigger and bigger chunks of yardage per play with each drive.
They do, and Williams, remember, this is only his 4th start of the season, and he's fresh. His legs are fresh. He doesn't have the bumps, the bruises, the sore muscles that everybody else has at this point in the season.
8:45 on the clock. Handoff goes to Dane Williams. A little stretch play to the left side of the field. Again, he bumps Dustin Smith off the play and knocks down a couple of more guys down inside the 10-yard line for the Rams. And I heard Joe chuckle over here. It was funny. Dustin Smith had no shot at Williams.
They're going to say he stepped out of bounds at the 13 just after he ran over Dustin Smith. But look at go back to the beginning of that play. Look at the push the California offensive line gets off the ball. By the time Danny Williams had the ball, the entire offensive line was already a yard downfield. By the time he gets to the line, they're 2-3 yards downfield and holes are open. So for California, they push that one to the outside. But staying up the middle is where it's at right now, as the holes are there, as we saw in that previous run where Williams picked up 16.
Ivory in motion for the Vulcans now, remaining in the shotgun. This a play fake. Ruggiero looks right, completes it to Moy. He comes back to the middle of the field. Nice stutter step to make one man miss, shaking Walt Gavay out of his shoes, but it wasn't enough. It was enough for a first down, however.
Number 58,
did they give it to
Taylor had to tackle the ball.
They haven't marked third down, but the down marker is right on. That's a great job running that wide receiver screen. Look at all the offensive linemen downfield trying to block for California. Josh, they didn't give him the first down. It's third down and inches. I think you've got to bring the chains on the field in this situation. It is too close to eyeball it and say this is definitely third down, and I think that's what they're discussing now.
And our vantage point isn't the best, but looking where the marker is, it looks like it's just off the 10-yard line, and the ball is about halfway between the 10 and the 9, so from here I'd call it a first. Take a look again. I wanted to highlight Nate Nurse getting out to block in the slot, setting up this play for Moy. This was a great stutter step, by the way, to make the first guy, Gavea, miss.
Well, how Nate Nurse is not an ineligible receiver man downfield at that point in the play is well beyond me, but California gets off with it, and I think they're going to be inch short. Josh, I'd rather be third down and short here, first down and goal from just inside the 10-yard line. Now, if you pick up 4 or 5 yards now instead of first and goal from the 9, first and goal from the 5.
True, that's true. I mean, it's better than, first and goal.
Either way, it's not a bad situation to be in.
First and goal from the 1 is a little bit harder to deal with, even as much as it closes the playbook a little bit. With 4 or 5 yard line, you can run a few more plays.
Kirby Griffin's out there. If he lines up on the right side of the field, look for him to be a pass receiver out of this formation. I've noticed when he's lined up on the left side, he's been the blocker. When he goes to the right, he's rolled out into that flat and been open more times than not.
It's getting into the point in the game, too, where California likes to pour it on. If they don't get it for some reason here on third down, I don't know if you'll see Lorenz again. They may just decide to go for it.
And we have a clock issue now. They're talking where to reset the clock to. The coach has asked us. I don't have an idea where it should be reset to. And they reset, 7 seconds back on the clock?
And I don't see what they're putting on the clock at all. The play clock's still full, and 8:34 is on the game clock. Now they'll wind it at 8:34, and it ticks under 8.5. Kirby Griffin, as Joe said, is in, as is Sean Johnson, the other lead blocker. They hand off to Williams. He gets across the line for a first down for California. Kirby Griffin, a moving wall out there. I don't think I've seen that play this successful for California this year.
Not with both fullbacks in there. We saw them get stopped on third down and short in the last possession, but remember, they just went straight eye. At that time, you put both fullbacks out there. Well, a fullback and a defensive end. And that has to bode well for Kirby Griffin. He's very versatile as a D end. I doubt he'd play fullback beyond this level, but even still, it's effective and it does what California needs him to do.
Blitz coming off the end for the Rams. Couple of guys, Ty Williams up right there. I thought for a minute he may have lost the ball. He'll be quieted down at the 6-yard line. And coming in to make that stop was Mitch Maines, the defensive lineman for the Rams.
Well, Josh, with Cal in the I formation now, this is a perfect time to go play action, either run slappy or force out of the slot on that little slant across the middle, or maybe even Eberline let him release. That's the play right now. Or not Eberline, excuse me, Corey Garver's out there.
Garver could be free on this near side. He's only going to have a safety or a linebacker in coverage maybe. Here comes Forsey. They telegraphing that run to the left again. Yes, they do. This time Williams cuts it back up the middle, however, on the dive. Falls awkwardly around the line of scrimmage. I think Maines was in on another tackle right there. He pulls Williams back, who might have gotten the 3 or 4 yard line, but that's all.
Well, now California going to bring the extra receivers on.
Let's take a look at it right here. He falls kind of awkwardly after the tackle. Watch his legs.
Oh, he just got pulled backwards by the leg. Was the problem with the tackle there.
That was 20 Elijah Davis for the Rams making that play.
For California, they're going to go that 3 wide receiver set. Garver's still eligible on the end of the line, and Williams, he's going to stay in the pass protect, but trying to release him here wouldn't be a bad call either.
Ruggiero drops back into the end zone for Corey Garver, but it's batted away by Leighton Hirsch. Nice play by the safety. Garver can't get his big paws on that one, and that brings on the field goal unit on 4th down. I don't know so much that Hirsch got a piece of that as it might have been Terrace Harris. I think he came off the far side of your screen to bat that one away.
That was a nice defensive play there. Either way, by the secondary, they really read the play. They knew what California was going to do. I think you've got to try to find that over the middle of the field right now. Is they've gone to the outside. Lorenz now looking to convert on 10 straight. This one only a 20-yard attempt from the middle of the field.
Lorenz boots that one into through the uprights and good. 6:33 to play in the second quarter. Tyler Lorenz makes the kick and puts the California Vulcans on top, 20-10 over the Rams of Shepherd.
What makes an honor student? Is it a paper chase for a diploma? Or is it building the character to do the right thing as well as the smart thing? For decades, California University of Pennsylvania has prepared students for successful careers and meaningful lives by defining honor in terms of integrity, civility, and responsibility. So our students graduate with a diploma and a degree of character.
The Division II student-athlete experience emphasizes academic and athletic excellence. From Olympic-style sports festival championships to community-focused partnerships, Division II schools are moving forward with a new attitude. Learning, service, passion, sportsmanship, resourcefulness, and balance. These are the attributes of student-athletes, coaches, administrators, and alumni and fans who say with pride, I chose Division II.
Lorenz about to put the kick away, and he'll squib it along the ground, trying to keep it away from Dervin Wallace. They'll do that successfully here, but it does not matter because there's a lot of space for the Shepherd return man. That's 28, Deontay Steele, and he'll bring it up to midfield, but still, this might not be too little space for the Vulcan D to work with.
And we've seen them, they're aggressive on the field no matter where they're at. They ended that last drive by sacking Lazier, and which Butler and Burns just both broke free off the edges. And first down here, if you're Shepherd, I understand you want to continue to run the ball and try to pick up the yardage that way, but at this point of the game, you've only got 6 yards rushing as a team on 12 carries. Something's going to have to give. You're going to have to try to change your game plan up. With 6.5 minutes to the half, they might wait until halftime.
Spring-Earth goes into motion to the far side. They hand off to Dervin up the middle. He makes one guy miss, but the second man, Henry, will come in and finish him off at the 47-yard line. 2nd down and 6 now from that point. 6:15 to play in the second quarter.
And you can see just a missed tackle there really breaks him free for an extra 4 or 5 yards. And it's not too often California misses a tackle, especially in the middle of the field. But either way, it's 2nd down and 6. This defense still has to feel that Shepherd's where they want them.
2nd down and 6, as we said. Shotgun formation now for Lazier. Been a while since we've seen that set out of the Rams. California backs off the blitz. Lazier rolls to his left. Has a lot of time. Don't know if anybody's open down the field. He's going to make one guy miss in the backfield. The ball is free. I think that is a fumble, and I think California has it.
They're going to spot him down as he was on the ground. I think this is the right call as Lazier tried to slide in. California lucky really they didn't get called for hitting Lazier late. You're going to see here California, they didn't nearly get him in the backfield. And that time it was Justin Taravisky. But you can see that Josh, I think probably could have been a late hit called against California.
Could have been, and it was the right call. Ball was free, and California did fall on it, but Lazier had hit the turf before the ball had popped out. 3rd down and 4 now. Actually, it ends up being a good play for the Rams as they pick up 2 or 3 on the scramble, busted play. Lazier gets some yards for his offense. Spring-Earth goes into motion again.
California, they're going to go man-to-man in the corners.
Hand off to Wallace. He is walloped on the near side of the field, and this time the ball is on the ground. And this time I do believe California's fallen on it, and they'll get the ball this time.
California gets the ball, but there should be a penalty flag coming in at the end of that play for 2 Shepherd players piling on after the play is dead. The ball's decided. The officials just have to get in there and figure out who has it. But for California, fortunate they hang on. Josh Zunick in there, I think, that came away with it in the end. And somebody laid a wallop on Dervin Wallace there. We're going to see it at the end of the play. I didn't quite catch it at real time who it was.
Zunic and Johnson, one of those two guys was who recovered it. Now let's take a look at this.
Here it is. Gary Butler spreads off, and 14. Joe Martin in the nickel situation comes in, makes the blow that jars that ball loose, and then Josh Zunick falls on it. Josh, 4.5 minutes. California has all 3 timeouts, and there's the mistake Shepherd really couldn't afford at this point in the half. California here scores here. You know, they get the ball back to start the second half as well.
Like I said, Joe, this is getting to that point in the game where Cal likes to pour it on. Ruggiero running out of time and space. He'll keep it. A lot of space up the middle to run the ball, and Ruggiero does just that. Takes it inside the 40-yard line. He'll be finished off by Walt Gavea, but it's well after Cal picks up a first down. There was no space for Ruggiero in the backfield. There was plenty upfield.
And this happened earlier in the game, too. There was a play that he could have tucked it and ran and really picked up 10, 12 yards. I believe it was a slappy touchdown catch, and I can't believe it didn't slide.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll be told about it at halftime, but that's when you've got to slide.
2 in the backfield.
But at the same time,
Ruggiero,
as a quarterback, that's going to fire your team up.
True. Williams and Brown are the 2 backs. Brown gets the carry. Here's that speed. Breaks a tackle on the outside. Wendell Brown running towards daylight, and he stumbles across the end zone. Touchdown, Vulcans. Wendell Brown displays that speed one more time, and California is going up 26-10 now after a great run by Brown. Stiff arm and then the speed.
Well, I'll tell you what, Leighton Hirsch is not going to be exchanging phone numbers with Jermaine Moy after this game. You're going to see at the end of this run, it's the block from Jermaine Moy that gives Wendell Brown the extra couple yards. There you can see the speed to the outside, down the sidelines. He's outrunning Moy almost. Right there, boom, Leighton Hirsch. You know, get out of my way. My guy's going to score, and for California, I think they scored too quick, actually.
They did. They give Shepherd 4 minutes and 3 seconds to work with. Like I said, this is getting to the point in the game where Cal really likes to start to pour it on. Lorenz extra point up and good. California leading 27-10. Already, Joe, this thing's starting to get a little bit out of hand. California, they did it last week against the Northeast 10, showing the PSAC supremacy. Now they want to do it against the WVIAC, and that just may be the case. So this run by Wendell Brown, a thing of beauty.
Williams goes up the middle. He'd have been untouched as well, but Wendell Brown, a guy that, Josh, I'm excited about watching play.
Yeah.
He's a guy you can look. He has 68 yards rushing. Williams has 76 yard rushing. And California, 157 yards rushing in this game already against a team that only gives up 108 a game. You can see what California did. Really, they ran over just about every single team on this roster except IUP. They had a little bit of trouble running the ball against them. And Slippery Rock a little bit of trouble running against as well. And Shepherd, you can see the lone loss to Glenville State. But that was the week after we beat Glenville. I think they were really fired up. That's a point in the season. That was a game they needed to win. Unfortunately, they went on to fall apart and lost to Seton Hill, a game that, for Seton Hill, is a great win, a great victory, the biggest victory in that team's 3-year history right now. But for Glenville State, one that's an embarrassment on the schedule. Yeah,
Glenville, certainly that hurts Shepherd's strength of schedule a little bit, losing to them, and then Seton Hill beating Glenville State. And California, like you said, Joe, ran over everybody they played this season. I always say every team's due for that one bad game, due for that one loss, a hiccup game. For California, no arguments really that it came against Lock Haven, but Lock Haven's so bad, California still wins the game 27-3.
That's exactly what it is. California and Lorenz, they realized that Wallace wasn't back there returning kicks this time, so they kick it away as normal. This is the first piece of laundry we've seen hit the field today, as there is a penalty flag down at the 31.
Number 5, Anderson, and number 45, Brown.
Ref's going to talk this thing out. I don't know if there was a hold down there or maybe something after the play, like a face mask. It was a face mask.
Should be a 5-yard variety. We'll get the official call.
During the return, face mask, kicking team, number 26, 5-yard penalty added to the end of the run, first down.
They said it was on 26, Patrick Swearinger. That probably came in the pile, and we might have a very good look at it on a replay. Certainly couldn't see it from up here. That gives the Rams a few extra yards. They'll start this drive at the 34 now instead. And Cal goes into a 4-3 with Gary Butler, the rush end, on the near side. Handoff up the middle. This is not Dervin Wallace. I believe it might be Jimmy Such, and it's such a shame to see him get that handoff because he is pushed into the backfield for no gain at best on that one. Sets up a second down. Well, they give him a yard. Let's call it 2nd down and 9 now. And I'm trying to figure out if that was Jimmy Such.
I think it was Vincent Riggs, 26. They got the carry. Either way, you can see California really starting to take over the play at the line. You know, it's not too often we've seen Shepherd get a push downfield, and California's doing it with 3-4 guys at the line.
Yeah, 26 is Riggs, 27 is Such, so I'm sure we'll be getting those two confused all game. Here comes Burns off the back, and Lazer's not going to get the block. Zudic chases down Laser for a big loss. Sack goes for a negative 10 yards, and this is going to be a 3rd and a long way to go. Zudic comes out of nowhere. It looks like Burns is going to make this play happen. And watch Zudic get free on the outside.
No, Zudic is the middle linebacker. He's just playing zone coverage over the middle of the field, making sure nobody gets in front of him, make sure the pass definitely doesn't get behind him. And then as soon as he sees Laser roll out, he gets to the outside. California takes a timeout, Josh. They want to get the ball back, and they want to score again before the half. We're going to take a look at the bracket here. This is the Northeast region. You can see California the bye, Shepherd the bye. They get through Indiana, who beat Westchester. Cal gets through SoCon State. The victory over Bryant. This game at Grand Valley State, between Central Washington and Grand Valley State, Josh, we got the 2nd best weather game of the day. That game is going to be played under a winter storm warning. 1 to 4 inches of snow followed by sleet, freezing rain, and up to a 1/4 inch of ice. All expected during the second half of that game.
Likewise in Sadron and Northwest Missouri.
And this game being played under a snow advisory, 3 to 7 inches of snow expected in Chadron, Nebraska today. So a lot of bad weather. And this one is where I would like to be, 75 degrees and sunny in Valdosta, Georgia, and California plays the winner of this game.
As nice as it is, though, California does play the winner of that game, and if they go on to continue to be successful in this thing, all signs are pointing to the fact that California could be hosting the game, and either one of those teams wouldn't really like to go from 75 degrees into a potential night game, and you're talking about sub-freezing temperatures could play into Cal's advantage. Laser gets whacked as he gets rid of that ball, and it will fall innocently to the ground at the 50-yard line, and again, Shepherd's going to have to punt it to California. Like I said, Joe, it's board on time. California wants more points to build on this 27-10 lead going into the locker room.
I don't blame them now, and you know, that one there, if any defensive back hears or turns around, sees that ball in the air, it's probably going to be a pick for California. But either way, they're going to get great field positioning. As we talked about, the punting game for Shepherd is really the big weakness on this team.
Yeah. So Beach, the 6 foot, 190-pound freshman, will nearly have this one blocked, but instead it's actually a great punt. And Moy fields it at the 25-yard line. Beautiful block downfield, delivered by number 21 for Cal, Josh Menendez. Despite his efforts, Moy will only get to about the 23-yard line, and that's where Cal's offense comes onto the field. And even though there's 2:45 left, I think there's plenty of time for Cal to make something happen. Watch Menendez. Oh, right there, lighting up.
We have a flag. There was a flag, a sideline warning against California. And then there was another initial signal against Shepherd. The defensive back, Dustin Smith, out there has his arms thrown out like, what did we do? We'll get the call.
Sideline warning against Shepherd.
Okay, there's a sideline warning against Shepherd. They gave the sideline warning towards the California bench. Usually they turn around and do it in the direction of the bench that's being pushed back. But for California, with 2:45 on the clock, they have 2 timeouts. Shepherd, by no means can they think California's going to strictly throw the ball on them. They've got to respect the running game because, remember, 10 yards and a first down stops the clock for the Chains.
Handoff goes to Williams up the middle again. He's going to drag a couple of tacklers, or would-be tacklers, I should say. It'll be 2nd down and 7 now after Williams' work. And you know, Williams and Wendell Brown are different runners. They're both great running backs, and I'm not so sure that given the workload Dane Williams has gotten, Wendell Brown could put up the same numbers. And this play will be blown dead before it even started. California jumped prior to the start of that one. That'll cost them 5 and set up about a 2nd down and 12 now.
Offense, number 9, 5-yard penalty.
Dead ball.
Called against Jermaine Moy. 2:19 to go. California backed up inside their own 20 for, I think, the first time in this game.
Oh, they are. And that's a tough one to take when it's the wide receiver that jumps a split second early, especially when you're trying to run a hurry-up offense with 2:15 to go in the half.
For that being Cal's first penalty today, though, I'll take it. False start, that happens from time to time. 2nd and 12 now. Brown and Williams both in the game. I would not be surprised to see Wendell Brown get another carry after what he showed us on that last one. Instead, Ruggiero drops back to pass. Brown makes a nice block right there to save Ruggiero from the rush. Into the flat goes Joe, and the flat pass falls off the hands of Dane Williams and incomplete, so it'll be 3rd down and 12 now.
Ruggiero wanted to unload that ball over the middle of the field. Nate Force was walking around at the end of that play with nobody within 10 yards of him, and he wanted to step up, make the throw, but the pressure up the middle really forced the change in decision. And see if California, if they try to go that way again. The safety over the middle is Leighton Hirsch, and he is the only safety back. We got man covers on the outsides.
Cal 5 of 7 on 3rd down today. Big rush this time. They complete it to Dane Williams. He gets no blocks and then takes a big shot from Joey Hooks back at the line of scrimmage. 4th down now, and Cal's going to punt it away. And just like that, the Rams have enough time on the clock to try to make some of these points up. See what kind of punt Amore gets away as he comes on to put his first one away. And this one, ball's a little harder to kick. We'll see how Jace deals with that, as he has not had to punt yet in the playoffs. And we'll see if Shepherd can get this into their own territory. They might be able to put something together.
This is the first time that you mentioned it. Amore has punted in the playoffs, and Jace Amore, wait, who's that? I forgot about him. But it took Shepherd an extra really 8 to 10 seconds there to make that timeout call. So California run down the clock, which is surprising. Josh, and know your show. Know your foe from Shepherdstown, West Virginia. The Shepherd Golden Rams, who did bring a ram here to the game, much the same as we saw at Westchester. It has its little blanket coat on over there. Apparently, it's very, very child friendly.
That's what we're told, and with Shepherd's enrollment of 4,000, only about half the size of California University of Pennsylvania. And certainly that's really been no lack of draw for the football program that has been successful, the most successful team in the WVIC AC over the last couple of seasons. Amore will punt it from his own 5-yard line. There's an early flag in on this one. Amore's punt is good. Does not matter. This play's not going to go. I think if this is against California, Amore's punting in his own end zone.
Snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty.
So that will be the case. Amore runs out of more space. No pun intended on that one. And this one will be fielded now at the 45, maybe 50-yard line for the Rams. So they're going to have good starting field position. And it's a shame that one goes to waste because Amore did get away a good punt.
Well, he did, and we'll see if he goes right at the return. If he tries to angle this one to not allow a return. If I'm Amore here, I just try to cough one out near the 50.
Deontay Steele returning for the Rams. Good blocks by California.
That's a great
high spiler, another great one by Moore, and Steele's going to have to let this one go. And it will come to rest at the 35-yard line. And that's where the Rams will come on the field with 1:25 on the clock in the first half. I don't know if they have enough gusto to put a drive together to go the length of the field, Joe, but maybe they can get themselves into field goal range.
A 45-yard punt, no return. And the ball's at your own 15-yard line, exactly what you want. And that, not only a great high kick by Amore, who gets a little friendly bounce there as well, but the coverage team is there, which eliminates any ability to return. Even if they do get under, it's going to be fair caught, as you can't catch a ball and there's a guy 3 feet away from you waiting to just plant you into the turf.
Lazier in the shotgun, sends Nasser Muhammad into motion, slot on the far side. He'll complete it to Muhammad on the crossing route, who's got some speed, stiff arms a man. That was Henry, and Muhammad goes out of bounds at the 42-yard line. 2nd down and 6 to go now for the Rams.
Good job to get out of bounds by Muhammad on the pass. It was complete. 12, 15 yards from the sideline, just continues to get out there. But at the same time, California does a nice job not allowing him to have that cutback to go back upfield and pick up more yardage. And Gary Butler, he's bringing pressure every time from the outside. Burns on the other side. So they really need to do a good job of protecting Lazier here in the hurry-up offense.
Trips wide on the left of Leisure. Good protection this time. Leisure comfortable in the pocket, completes it to Springerth at midfield. Little middle hook right there, and Juan Butler comes in to tackle Springerth. I don't know if we're going to see the hurry-up offense here for the Rams. Looks like we will, as they're trying to reset. And in that time, Cal makes a couple of substitutions. Vickers comes off to the field. On to the field goes number 20, Trey Allen. Dropping back as Leisure again and completes it to Springerth. Again, he'll go out of bounds, ducking away from the Terrence Johnson tackle at the 39-yard line. So that'll bring up a second down and short with 1:05 on the clock. Great awareness by these receivers to take the play to the sideline, Joe.
Yeah, they have. And you can see right here, it's just over the middle. California, they're trying to get the pressure there. And that's where it's at. California trying to get the pressure. It's leaving guys open in those little soft underneath zones. Now the problem is, if California doesn't bring pressure, does Leisure realize where the linebackers are sitting in coverage? We saw a Mark Malloy pick off a pass last week.
Here comes a Nate Payne blitz. Good protection, however. Going down the field was Leisure, and that could be a late hit. It is. That's a good call by the refs. I was going to say it right away. Juan Butler comes in off the sideline. That ball well over the head of the wideout. Play was just about over, and Juan Butler delivers an unnecessary blow to the intended target, Lavin.
Well, you could see it at the end of the play.
And Lavin's hurt. That's why you really hate to see that.
It was a late hit. It wasn't excessively late. And you're looking at that.
Personal foul, defense, number 19. That's a 15-yard penalty for the previous ride, automatic first down.
And that one, it's late. It's not unduly late, but it's going to make Shepherd think twice before going up top again now.
Take a quick break from the truck. 27-10, Cal over Shepherd. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Cleaned up what was on the field. Lavin appears to be okay, and the Vulcans lead 27-10 over the Shepherd Rams. First down and 10 after the personal foul by Juan Butler. Dual halfbacks in the shotgun for Ryan Leisure.
Now with a minute left in a situation where they can run their full offense.
Leisure drops back. He's going to scramble and head towards the sideline. Wants to get away from Kirby Griffin. And again, California got to be careful right there. Coming in at the end of the play was Antoine Cox. Had he hit Leisure, that would have been another late hit out of bounds.
Well, it wasn't for Leisure. Great awareness there. Picks up enough for a first down. And he's very fortunate he didn't go down in the backfield. And California, they've got to feel good. They're getting pressure. They're getting back to the quarterback and putting him in a situation where he's going to feel uncomfortable. And if he throws the ball, that's when we've seen quarterbacks make the mistake. It really hasn't been when Cal hasn't gotten the pressure. When the pressure is there, we've seen guys that they've missed the target, and California's been sitting underneath to pick it off, or somebody stepped in front, or it's been thrown directly at them.
So Shepherd in threatening range right here with 54 seconds on the clock. Ball's at the 16-yard line. Leisure's under center, has Such behind him. Lobs one towards the end zone. A nice catch by Nasser Muhammad. Takes the hit right there and reels it in. At the 3, Nate Payne gives him the shot. But Nasser's shown the ability to hold on to the ball in traffic in this game. That's his second acrobatic catch today.
So much air under these throws, Josh. I'm waiting for it. It's going to happen. We're going to see a ball thrown with that much loft on it into coverage that California's going to come away with. But to Leisure's credit, he's completing the passes.
And the difference between him and Zwan, however, these are in the right spots.
Yeah, I don't want to take away from Leisure. He's still a good quarterback, but the arm strength isn't there, and that's going to hurt him at some point in this game, I got to believe.
Leisure's going to hand it off right there to Wallace. Wallace has nothing to work with. He'll be tackled by Joe Martin at the 2 or 3 yard line. Gary Butler also in on that tackle. And Wallace is down. It'll be first and goal now. Second and goal for the Rams.
That's their second
Shepherd took the timeout. They spotted Wallace all the way down to the 1. And so Shepherd's going to be down to 1 timeout. A little under 22 seconds remaining. You see Monty Carter. It's actually Monty Cater. 26 years coaching, 21st at Shepherd, 140 wins, 69 losses, and a tie. He's a guy that ranks among the tops of active coaches in Division IIs in winning percentage. And there's Coach Luckhart, a guy that if he was coaching that long at the Division II level, you got to believe would be in the same situation. As far as active coaches goes, if you combine the records from all division, Coach Luckhart, a guy that's in that top 10 in coaching and victories, and win percentage and everything else from his time at W&J and his time here. And, you know, that win percentage for Coach Luckhart was right around 500 for a while there. Now with 12 straight victories, obviously that number starts to grow. But they really want to make it 13 here today.
And I think Cater leads the charge of what you could call the most storied program in the WVIAC conference. The most successful program at the same time, also the Shepherd Rams. 2nd and goal now for Lazier and Dervin Wallace. Can they punch down the door, score a touchdown on the stout California defense?
Gosh, this would be the most points that anybody scored against California all year if they get in.
And they do. Dervin Wallace scores, and there goes that mark of 13. Finally, somebody scores more than that on the California D. They're not going to be happy about that, but they can't do anything about it because it's 27-16 now. And just like that, when it looked like California might pull away, Shepherd could be within 10 going into the locker room.
And I would expect they will be, but you know, you got to take a look at this too. It's the same way as did this drive exploit anything in California's defense that Shepherd's offense can take advantage of in the second half? I don't think so. You know, there was a lot of times, you know, they were a split second away from this drive being ended on a big sack or an interception. So California, though, there's the chance that this one turns around. And even though that was ugly, it got through.
And that was not Beveridge on the kick, actually. That was
V6, the wide receiver. Was it Beveridge?
I don't think that was Beveridge. That looked like number 28 from here, which would be Deontay Steele, but I'm not sure that was the case. What's it matter? The extra point was good, 27-17. Shepherd only down 10 now. Take a look at the touchdown. Wallace had a lot of space. That's some of the most space I've seen California give up on the line of scrimmage on the goal line this season.
Well, it was, and I think California, they predicted that play to go left. It went back right, and then nobody was home. And, you know, I don't know what California's going to do offensively here. I think you stick a couple guys back. You try to return this. Depending on the return, you take a shot at the end zone once. But outside of that, with 2 timeouts, only 18 seconds, you know, the kick's going to take 10 seconds off the clock. So I really don't think California's going to try to do anything here offensively unless they return it down. You know, really, they've got to get across midfield.
Yeah, they should be content to sit on the ball. I mean,
they're going to get the ball back coming out of half.
There's going to come a time in the season where you find some opponents that actually play a little bit tougher. California's had their way with everybody this season, and I think it's the best anybody has played Cal all season. Ball bounces off Deontay Henry. It'll be picked up by California.
Is that Griffin?
I thought it was for a minute, but I think it was 21 actually for the Vulcans. That it was. That would be Josh Menendez, who had that great block on the punt return earlier. Now the Cal offense comes onto the field. I'd be pretty sure they're just going to kneel this thing out or maybe put a run on the ground and see if they can make something of it. But, you know, Joe, you evaluate California's play in the first half, other than maybe that last drive for Shepherd, which kind of gives them some confidence into the locker room. Their offense next half, California's looked great.
Well, they have, and you know, I think they signaled the clock to start running in California. They're going to take the knee. But still a good first half. You know, the defense gave up 10 points. The kick return for the touchdown to open this game, and that's something California, they forgot about. Obviously, they came back, they played their game, took the lead right back. So defensively, you know, they're probably not happy with where they're at, giving up 17 points to this Shepherd team, especially for the fact they only have 88 yards of total offense. But Coach LUCKHARDT and his staff, is one thing they do so well is make the adjustments at halftime. And we'll see what type of adjustments Shepherd makes for Coach Monty Cater.
The NCAA Division II National Quarterfinals. We still have some business yet to attend to. We'll do that after the break. At halftime, Cal leads Shepherd 27-17.
The Division II student-athlete experience emphasizes academic and athletic excellence. From Olympic-style sports festival championships to community-focused partnerships, Division II schools are moving forward with a new attitude. Learning, service, passion, sportsmanship, resourcefulness, and balance. These are the attributes of student-athletes, coaches, administrators, and alumni and fans who say with pride, I chose Division II.
What makes an honor student? Is it a paper chase for a diploma? Or is it building the character to do the right thing as well as the smart thing? For decades, California University of Pennsylvania has prepared students for successful careers and meaningful lives. by defining honor in terms of integrity, civility, and responsibility. So our students graduate with a diploma and a degree of character.
Welcome back to CUTV Sports' coverage of the NCAA Division II National Quarterfinals. California leading the Shepherd Rams by a score of 27-17. Let's look at the halftime stats.
Well, Josh, the fact that Shepherd has 17 points is a bit of a surprise, even though one did come off of the 83-yard Dervin Wallace kick return to open this game. You can see they only have 88 total yards of offense, 11 yards rushing. California on the ground, though, it's been the Dane Williams-Wendell Brown show. Williams 15 for 79 and a touchdown. Brown 4 for 68 and a touchdown. Time of possession in California's favor. Really everything in favor of California. We're going to take a look at that Wendell Brown touchdown run as the CUTV play of the half. And Josh, you can just see him. You know, he stretches down the line.
Little stiff
By that
arm
point,
there.
you see a guy fall down, breaks one tackle with a little stiff arm now, and Jermaine Moy gets ahead of him, picks up the last block, and look, Dane Williams down there blocking for his buddy in the backfield as well.
Those two are one heck of a 1-2 punch for California. And Dane Williams, Wendell Brown, Brandon Lombardi, next season should be interesting to see how California handles their backfield. But next season's a long way off with the way California has been playing so far today.
Well, and one thing I'll tell you what, Wendell Brown, a guy, he plays up on kick returns. You very well may see him move back and be the kick returner on this team next year for the fact not only does he have breakaway speed, he has the moves and the strength to make people miss as well.
And let's go down to our sideline reporter Stephanie Smith to talk a little bit about Tim McCutcheon.
Hey guys, we've seen a lot of senior running back Deron Williams in this first half, but did you know he's one of the regional finalists for the Harlan Hill Trophy, and he also leads Division II in a bunch of different categories, including rushing yards this season. He averages 195.2 yards per game. He's also scored 21 rushing touchdowns, and he leads the nation in all-purpose yards with 2,270. He's had more than 300 yards in a game twice and 280 yards in another game. And hey guys, he also is the WIVIAC's leading scoring. He holds the scoring record for the WIVIAC with 434 points. Guys, he looks like the Vulcans are holding him pretty good this game. Gonna have to try to keep that for the rest of the game. Guys, back to you.
Well, obviously that wasn't about Tim McCutcheon, but nonetheless some useful information from Stephanie Smith. Devon Wallace, 14 carries for 19 yards in this game, despite an outstanding season. Joe, you're over here barking a little bit about overrated maybe. And we'll get to that in a second. Watch this nice return by Terrence Johnson off the squib. Goes down to the 40-yard line. While we have a second, go back to that, Joe. I don't know. I mean, he looks like a good back to me. It's just, again, California's defense is so good, you could say every back's overrated.
And I think that we've just been spoiled by it. Wallace, but you talk about those 300-yard, 280-yard, 300-yard games. Those were the final 3 weeks of the season. One was against West Liberty State. One was against West Virginia Wesleyan, a team that's absolutely terrible. And you can see there's really no good run defense in the WIVIAC. Fairmont leads at 102. There's 5 teams give up over 150 yards a game on the ground.
Cal up 10, has first possession of the second half. Williams a little stiff arm in the backfield right there, and then another one on Dustin Smith, who has enough jersey to circle Williams down at the 31-yard line. Positive gain right there, about 10. It's going to be close to the marker. This is a good run by Dane Williams, a little cut back in the backfield, and then there's a stiff arm and another broken tackle coming up on Smith.
And tackling has got to be something that needs to be addressed for Shepherd. As California, you talk about a lot of yards after first contact. They do it again there, and it's Dane Williams inching closer to 100 yards on the game.
Single back formation now. Dane Williams stays in the backfield for California. We'll see. It'll be interesting to note what kind of time he and Wendell Brown split in the second half. They'll give it to Williams again right now, and he'll be stopped in the backfield by a host of Ram defenders. Leading the charge right there was number 11, the standout DN Mike Spiegelberger. And Joe, this is the point in the game where we said end of the second, beginning of the third's kind of poured on time, but California has run some quick second halves when they have leads this season.
Oh, they have. They just, they take the air out of the ball, they sit on it, they run. They don't throw the ball. And maybe one of the surprising stats of the first half is Nate Force did not have a reception.
That is a surprising stat. You figure he was a big part of that win at SoCon State, or against SoCon State last week. No catches today. Play fake to Williams. Ruggiero looking left all the way and completes it to Jermaine Moy. Little stutter step and then loses the ball out of bounds. Does not matter. The completion gets California down to the 11-yard line. Nice little fake from Moy right there, but he just didn't have any space to make anything else with that catch.
No, Moy was open. Force was open, running right down the middle of the field. You could see him right at the, cutting through that play, the screen real fast there. And yeah, he loses a hand on the ball, but he's already out of bounds. No harm done for California there.
Boy, has Joe's throws been a thing of beauty in this game. Perfect spirals and right on the money. See if that trend continues, and I expect them to go to the air on this play. Now, call me a fool because they hand it off to Wendell Brown. He spins off one, and he's going into the end zone. Touchdown, Vulcans. But
no, there's no flag.
No flag on the play. Wendell scores. That's one of the better 9-yard runs you're going to see anywhere. What a spin move and what a cutback. His acceleration after contact is phenomenal.
Well, and here you go. A missed tackle. The guy gets handed on him second, third time. And then right here, look at that cutback right there just to go right around Leighton Hirsch. And that only ate up 1 minute and 35 seconds.
33-17, Lorenz in to try to make this thing, well, double it up, I should say. He will do just that. 34-17, California over Shepherd. And this Shepherd crowd sort of shocked on the far side of the field. Other than that hiccup against Glenville State, I don't think they've seen a team dominate them all season like California has today.
And again, I think everybody keyed in on Dave Williams, even though there were a couple of guys looking at Wendell Brown. And he's another guy, the more carries he gets, the more comfortable he looks as well. And look what he's done today. 5 carries for 79 yards. A couple of touchdowns. The postseason history, this is not the first time California has played a game in December, Josh. That Pythion Bowl was played on December 8th of 1951.
What does Pythion mean?
I have no idea.
I thought I might ask that.
But you can see, the PSAC championship game considered postseason, and then the game last week, the victory against SoCon State. Shepherd, there's going to be 2 more of these after this, just to give you a heads up. As an NAI team, you can see they didn't fare too well. 1 victory there before going down. And then once in the NCAA playoffs, a victory over IUP. And this is, last week was the second time they beat them. But last year, they won the Bloomsburg. A game that's very close that really scared Bloom before they got beat pretty bad by Northwest Missouri State last year.
Now Lorenz will kick this one away, and I had a thought. I did just lose it. I'm trying to remember what it was. Something about Wendell Brown. I can't remember. I'm sure it'll come back to me later as he gets more carries.
Gosh, it's very possible we're going to see 2 guys with 100 yards rushing in this game for California.
It's very possible. And this one is fielded at the 17-yard line. And a couple of Vulcans come in to wrap that man up. Guy Hurt makes the tackle. While we have a second, we'll give you some updated scores from around the Division II NCAA quarterfinals. Grand Valley State over Central Washington 20-0. Everybody down in the truck knows what I'm thinking right now, but I won't say it. 6-6, Valdosta and North Alabama tied both of those games just about through the first quarter.
I can tell you there's no surprise about that Grand Valley State score, Josh. Central Washington's quarterback opened his mouth and said, we're going to come in to your house and break your 39-game winning streak against a team that's won the last 2 national titles. Why you would give a team like that locker room bulletin board material is well beyond me. A team that can't run the ball and has poor offensive line protection in the first place.
Blazier rolls and dumps it off into the flat. Jake Howell runs him down from behind, and he goes out of bounds. I will say this, Joe. One thing I know for sure about Grand Valley State is they really know how to ruin a day.
Well,
and they're doing just that against Central Washington today.
And, depending on what California does the rest of the way here, very good possibility they could ruin California's day at some point this season. Although, you know what? I think California might be a team that can give them a challenge.
I would hope somebody can. Or they're looking at a 3 in a row, right?
3, yeah. 3 and then 5 out of 6, I think. Go to Division I, please. Make it available for somebody else.
Butler showing blitz off the left side. He'll get blocked, but blows up the blocker, only to have the favor return. It's the first time I've seen Gary Butler dominated all season. He took a lick from number 60, Clark Lansendorf. This was a good battle, though. Butler almost had him.
And Kirby Griffin, the guy, gets in from the backside.
Oh, sorry, Gary.
And he'll probably still get credited for half a sack there. Gets blocked right into Lazier, but Butler's doing this against a guy out there at right tackle, Clark Lansendorf at 6'4", 293.
3rd down and 9 now for Shepherd. Lazier drops back. Big blitz off the end. Lazier floats one up, and it falls just shy of his intended target, Craig Tremmel. Second time he's looked his way this game. That one goes for nothing, and that brings on Zach Beach and the punting unit for Shepherd.
And Josh, that's the first time I can remember that Shepherd's thrown at Terrence Johnson. Really, he's the number 1 corner if you have to rank him and Henry 1 and 2. Terrence Johnson's 1. He's a shutdown guy on the outside.
I don't know about that, Joe. They're both.
I mean, they're both very good, but when you look at pure numbers, I think Terrence Johnson has to be number 1. If you're going to rate him out of 100, I give you a 95 and a 94 rating.
Yeah. Terrence Johnson, a second-team All-PSAC selection this season. Henry, a first-team selection. Punt returned by Moore. He feels it at the 35, picks up about 10, and then is pushed backward.
Oh, there's some pushing and shoving in that pile, and for California it was 33, Brent Whiteleather. I think it was number 42, Will Wheeler, for Shepherd, and he threw the last shot there. It was clear as day, right into the face of Whiteleather. He throws his arms up. He wants a flag. I can't say I blame him, but one, it's either going to be both or neither that are going to get the flag. So really, yardage-wise, it doesn't mean anything.
I'm actually going to correct myself. Both Johnson and Henry, both all PSAC first-team selections. Johnson, a second-team Daktronics all-region selection. Ruggiero gives the handoff to Williams, who bounces the off-tackle play to the right side of the field. Has a lot of space, and he's going to have to be bumped out by Joey Hooks on the far side of the field, just inside the 40-yard line. Nice carry for Williams. I thought when he ran that far into the backfield, he was talking about getting chased down, but never happened. The defenders, the pursuit was not there against Dane Williams.
And the reason he gets to the outside is Corey Garver holds the block against Joey Hooks, which springs him in for Williams. That one puts him over 100 yards. Now at 18 carries, 106 yards on the game. So 4 starts, 400-yard games rushing for Dane Williams.
1st and 10 from the 40. Sean Johnson's in. Twin wideouts to the left of Ruggiero on the near side. Play fake. Big rush. Ruggiero evades that one and then flips it over the middle. Sean Johnson has his first reception of the season, I believe, and we have a late flag coming onto the field. Could be a face mask as they wrapped up Johnson high. Joe signaling otherwise.
I think they're going to get the late hit on Shepherd coming in, unless California shoves someone in the back at the end of the play. But watch Ruggiero there. He just avoids the sack, and he doesn't do it by scrambling. He just steps out of the way. And actually, it's going to go block in the back against Cal. So it's going to go from the spot, and it really isn't going to hurt California all that bad.
And, well, could not hear that call, but it was a block in the back against Cal. And Sean Johnson's first reception of the season is going to go all for naught as it ends up costing Cal yardage. It'll be 1st and 5 now. No, they say 1st and 6. 11:48 on the clock in the 3rd quarter. And they'll wind it. Wendell Brown's in the game. He's to the left of Ruggiero. Williams on the other side. Nate Force in the slot on the near side.
Kind of funny, you have a 1st down and 6 after an offensive penalty.
Fake handoff to Williams. Ruggiero rolls. He's being chased. Gets the ball away and completes it to Nate Force. So he's on the stat sheet finally through about 2.5 quarters. And his reception gets California inside the 25-yard line. They'll spot it at the 23 where it'll be 1st and 10.
Well, it's going to be 1st and 10. I'm going to say I'm 100% positive here. California's going to run the ball. They check both Eberline and Garver into the game. So they're going to go big. And now the thing you do, they've been bringing Force in really as a fullback, wingback. I think you keep him to the outside. And, they'll probably end up throwing, just to prove me wrong.
Yeah, we have been wrong a lot in these last couple of games, Joe, as opposed to early on in the season. That handoff to Dane Williams gets him to about the 16-yard line. And I don't think California is going to be, they'll be about 2 yards shy of the marker. 2nd down and 3 now, 10:50 on the clock in the 3rd quarter, and this is an example of, like we said, California just trying to eat some clock up as they get closer to extending their lead. You know, I almost forgot they're up 34. We're already talking about getting into the 40s if California punches this one in.
Well, and how good does this offensive line look? You know, with all the newcomers early in the season, I thought they were going to be an issue. They did struggle, you know, about 2/3 of the way through the season, but the last 2 weeks, I think that bye week did them wonders.
Here's motion. It's forced for once. They don't run at him after he comes in motion. Williams gets to the outside, has the blocks, hurdles a defender, and goes over the goal line. Touchdown, Vulcans. California into the 40s early in the 3rd quarter. Nice run off tackle by Dane Williams.
Well, that's a great run. That one's going to go from 16 yards out. There's a flag at the line, so we're going to bring it back. Chop block, clipping, one of the two.
Let's see if we can see it on replay.
It was somewhere back at the line of scrimmage. That's a call that you don't see too often.
Clipping, offense, number 73. That's a 15-yard penalty to the previous spot. Replay, 2nd down.
Nate Nurse. You know, we've been quiet on Nurse the last couple of weeks. He was having a lot of holding issues at the end of the season. First time he's really done anything wrong in the playoffs.
And I say that just as think about the comment before the last play. How good is the offensive line looked the last 2 weeks?
I'm telling you, Joe, left and right, they've been proving us wrong. We thought we had this team figured out midway through the season,
well,
but
good. We shouldn't have them figured out come playoff time.
No, that's true, because that means other teams have them figured out, and that's I think something we talked about last week. Either way you shake it, what we know or not, California is all the way back at their 30-yard line. Excuse me, the Shepherd 30-yard line. 2nd down and 20, or 17 to be precise, and Ruggiero's got 5 wide. Looks to his left, completes it to Force. Force is upended at the 18-yard line by Dustin Smith. So that takes a nice chunk out of the yardage they had to get back. It'll be 3rd down and 5 now from the 18.
And that's what you do on 2nd down and long. You pick up half of the yardage, a little more than half. Now you make it 3rd down and manageable. And with the score the way it is, you know, a touchdown here takes Dervin Wallace out of this game, I believe at least, and really forces Lazier to throw the ball. So I really think we're looking at 4-down territory here for California. And out of the gun, I wouldn't be surprised, you know, with 3 wideouts on the field, to see a run from Dane Williams.
Snap goes, Ruggiero drops back, little play action. I don't know how many defenders he's going to elude in the backfield, not enough. And Michael Spiegelberger got to him yet again. Spiegelberger undersized for a DN, but he gets around the field pretty well. First time he's really been in Ruggiero's face, but not the first time he's gotten familiar with California's backfield.
No, not at all. And Ruggiero does a nice job getting that ball away, keeping it within field goal range. This is going to be a 35-yard attempt. Remember, we've seen Lorenz hit from 43 yards the past 2 games.
And this one's off center, though. A little bit of wind blowing, too, to his left, so he's going to have to put a lot of right on this one. Give Lorenz some credit. This is a tough kick. And it looks good from here, though. And he put it right down the pike. Tyler Lorenz continues his hot streak. We're going to go to a commercial break. The Vulcans lead 37-17, 10:03 on the clock in the 3rd quarter. Right back after this.
The Division II student-athlete experience emphasizes academic and athletic excellence. From Olympic-style sports festival championships to community-focused partnerships, Division II schools are moving forward with a new attitude. Learning, service, passion, sportsmanship, resourcefulness, and balance. These are the attributes of student-athletes, coaches, administrators, and alumni and fans who say with pride, I chose Division II.
There's a university where success is more than a paper chase for a degree. One that builds the kind of character that can help you do the right thing as well as the smart thing. Where core values of integrity, civility, and responsibility are not just taught, but integrated into your day-to-day experience. California University of Pennsylvania.
Tyler Lorenz scores for California. He's responsible for those last 3 points that put California up 37-17, and he'll now kick it off for the Vulcans, who lead over the Shepherd Rams You're in the national quarterfinals of the NCAA Division II playoffs.
That's
a great kick fielded just inside the end zone, and a big hit put on the Rams return man. And I believe that was Steele, and Guy Hurt
clotheslined him.
Brought down Steele at the 10. Watch it again in replay. Good job by Hurt to get down there and finish this one off.
And heads up by Lorenz, seeing how short the return men were to really boot that ball deep. Carries the return man all the way back into the end zone, and Guy Hurt lays a lick. This is the worst field position for Shepherd now, and I don't know how aggressive you get here down 20. A turnover here, and you can almost start up the bus at this point. But there's still a lot of time left. There's still 10 minutes left in the third quarter here.
Joe, going back to Guy Hurt, he's one of those guys out there that probably competing for one of those 3 spots when it's vacated by the starting linebackers next season. And he's shown the fire to maybe get it done out there. That is the case. Handoff goes to Wallace. Butler puts another tackle on him for, I don't know, his 3rd or 4th in this game. 2nd down and 7 now after Wallace picks up 3.
And again, it's a cutback for Wallace to pick up the yardage.
16-yard line where it'll be 2nd and 7.
The one thing you can see is the offense continues to, they keep continuing to wear down. You can see the California defense, they're picking up. They're a lot stronger. They're getting stronger as this game goes on.
Dropping back is Leisure. Wallace dumps that one off to his left, and Wallace will try to cut it outside. Gains another yard or 2. 3rd down and 5 now. Ball spotted at the just shy of the 20-yard line. And California's defense bending but not breaking. And I see the coaching staff on the sideline telling this Vulcan team to move back a little bit and get closer to the benches. They don't want to pick up a sideline violation.
Oh, they don't. And I can't tell if that was a design screen or not. It looked like it for the fact that there were 3 offensive linemen out blocking ahead of Dervin Wallace. But at the same time, it looked like Leisure wanted to throw downfield.
Leisure in the shotgun. 2 receivers to his right. Sends one of them out into the flat. That could have been a legal motion. Was not. Leisure completes it over the middle. Short crossing route. And it's good enough for a 1st down. See if you can see it on the near side of your screen right here. Now, it was actually number 3, though, Nasser Muhammad, out in the flat, maybe waiting for a wide receiver screen. If Leisure looked that way, he might have wanted to go to him because Nasser had nobody covering him. He would easily had the 1st down and then more. Instead, they do it the hard way over the middle. And does either way, it goes for a 1st down. Shepherd has the ball at the 31-yard line. That's where it's 1st and 10. And Leisure gets into the I form. It's single back now after they motion out of it.
And only now has Shepherd cracked 100 yards of total offense in this game.
Fake to Wallace. No, it was a very nicely sold fake by Leisure. It was actually a designed rollout. And they give it to Wallace up the middle on the dive. He carries it for 6 more. 2nd down and 4 now. Dervin Wallace in this game has 16 carries for 26 yards now.
And Wallace starting to look a little bit better. In California, it's not like they've gone away from their base defense. They still have the 3-4 alignment. And it's not like Wallace is doing this against a 5 defensive back or 6 defensive back front.
2nd down and 1. 7.5 on the clock in the 3rd quarter. Cal shows blitz, and Zunich runs right by Wallace, who cuts outside, breaks 1 tackle, can't get by Henry. That's the 2nd or 3rd time in this game, Joe, that Deontay Henry's had to make a saving tackle on Dervin Wallace. Wallace makes a nice cut right here through his hole.
And that one, this tackle by Deontay Henry keeps this play from being bigger than what it could have been. And John Sheehan, the wide receiver, missed the block on Henry. And he's got to be thinking right now, man, if I pick him up, they're down at the 30-yard line.
Dervin Wallace, 321 carries this season for 2,087 yards, a remarkable year for the Shepherd Rams running back. 2 blockers on the right side here. See if they look Wallace's way again. They bring Springerth in tight now. They're going to throw, and there's the pressure in the backfield. Gary Butler was in there. Sam Thickers got into the backfield. I think it's going to be a solo sack, however, and it will be for Gary Butler. Joe, you did the math earlier. What's that? Will that make it 12 now on the season for him?
At least 12, depending on what happened with one of the earlier sacks, if they gave him half or not. And you've got to double team Gary Butler on the outside at this point. He's being held to no extent there. You can see when you're past an offensive lineman, he's holding you from behind, grabbing on. that is considered holding, at least by most people. But either way, California, they still get the pressure there. Now they bring a tight end to Gary Butler's side of the field.
And he'll be rushing off the end again. He's almost transformed from an outside linebacker to a rush end in this game. Laser just floats that one towards the Shepherd's sideline and well out of play. It'll be 3rd down and 16 now from the 43-yard line, 6:19 on the clock. What kind of play does Shepherd try to design to, get half the yardage back here, Joe?
Well, half does you no good. You've got to get the first down. You're not in 4-down territory. You can give California a short field if you go for it on 4th down and don't pick it up. So at this point, you put someone out wide on the sidelines. It looks like Norrell's going to be the guy to the near side, and you just tell him to go. He's being covered by Trey Allen. You just tell him to run. Hope he beats him in coverage, and California does not get pressure on Lazier.
Here comes some motion onto the near side. Lazier drops, has a little bit of time. He does fling it towards the right side of the field, and a nice catch right there by Mark Springarth over Trey Allen. Joe called that one perfectly, so finally we get something right up here. Springarth reels it in over his shoulders, and the Trey Allen coverage, and there's a Shepherd first down.
Ball's at the 24-yard line.
And you can see it.
That was Deontay Henry, not Allen.
Deontay Henry was lined up in the slot. In California, they're going to take a timeout to talk this one over and get regrouped here. But you're going to take a look at the line. California, they almost got the pressure there, but Lazier does a nice job, hangs in the pocket, and doesn't, and you can see Butler being held again. And every time the guilty party has been Lasendorf. When you're hands all over a guy when he's past you, you can't touch him like that and continuously not get flagged for it, but whatever. And either way, for California, you've got to overcome that. When you've gotten to Lazier, you've brought him down. I think he's been sacked 5 times today.
Yeah.
And this is a team that's only given up 17 sacks coming into this game.
Yeah. Let's take a second while we're in the timeout. Look at the bracket. First, let's start with the NCAA quarterfinal bracket and see what we've got left in the Elite Eight here in the Division II playoffs. California obviously waiting to see the winner of that North Alabama-Valdosta game. And that outcome yet to be decided as those two teams deadlocked at 6-1. Grand Valley State taking care of Central Washington. Chadron, Northwest Missouri State, a night kickoff.
Chadron very fortunate to get through last week. They won a game in triple overtime, 76-73. Yes, it was a football game, not a basketball game.
Yeah, I thought it was a basketball score at first, but I kind of did a double take when I looked at the score online. Lazier drops back, dumps it off to Wallace to his left. Wallace is brought down at the 17-yard line. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 4 now. Chadron, Northwest Missouri State kicking off at 1:30, not nighttime. But again, the weather there will be a factor in that game in the snow. And that was a nice tackle right there by Jake Howell. First time we've called his name out. It's very early in the ballgame. We may have only talked about him for the fact that he's subbing in for Brian Moore today.
You see that current drive. This one started right around the 12, 14-yard line for Shepherd. They've gone the length of the field. They completed that big 3rd down and 16 pass, and that's why they're at this point.
Springarth comes in motion as a blocker. They fake the reverse, then he goes outside. Wallace stopped in the backfield by Kirby Griffin right there. No gain, maybe a loss of 1 on the play. 3rd down and 5 now from the 19.5-yard line.
And another, now you're in 4-down territory for Shepherd. You're at a point on the field that if you don't pick it up here, you can go for it. And for California, they have over 100 tackles for a loss on the season. Now in 13, that's 8 a game, roughly. Give or take a fractional percent.
3rd down and 5. Springarth motions near the line. Lazier drops back under a lot of heat. Yet again, that rush came from Joe Martin. There's a late flag on the field. All the Shepherd players are signifying it's against California. Must have been a late hit or a personal foul of some sort.
Well, there's no reason it should be defensive holding or pass interference against California, as the ball was so severely underthrown, nobody was ever near it, and California never laid a hand on any receiver.
Pass interference. Defense, number 20. Penalty is a spot foul, automatic first down.
Joe, I'll tell you, I was thinking it was a personal foul. That flag was very late. We're not going to see Trey Allen here. Nobody's even near that. Well,
where's Trey?
When I see it right there, that's Trey
Allen didn't touch him. First of all, it's not a catchable pass.
No.
Second of all, Trey Allen never even makes contact. That's an absolute pathetic call by the officiating.
Well, the NCAA officiating commissioner is here today, so he'll be the judge of that for himself. Durbin Wallace, the single back in the backfield. Lazier sends Springerth into motion. Butler shows rush off the end again. Lazier rolls Kirby Griffin, and Burns will chase him down. Burns gets the jersey and throws him out of play. So that one goes for nothing. Lazier tries to scramble, but the receivers never got open. Might be a little bit of a coverage sack right there, Joe.
Well, it wasn't. It will go down as a sack. Lazier's in every position to throw this ball, and then Darren Burns chases him down. Doesn't even have the best angle at him, but just uses his speed and athleticism to get to Lazier, and he's going to have nightmares about this Cal defense.
And I'll tell you what, guys, if you have a chance, watch Gary Butler on the near side of your screen, pass rushing.
Every down.
Every down, yes, but I mean the spin moves, the swim moves, he's got the tools of a defensive lineman, but not nearly the size. And as I say that, this looks like one player he might not rush out. He does anyway. They lob one to the end zone for Springerth. Allen's holding him. That easily could have gone for another flag, but the ball's out of Springerth's range and falls innocently to the ground. Third down and 11 now with 4:38 to go in the second quarter.
Allen, maybe they let him get away with one there. But, he was in position, just, throwing the arm out. Really nothing wrong with that. Update quickly, Grand Valley still 20-0. Valdosta 13-9 over North Alabama, and then Northwest Missouri State 7-0 lead early in the game over Chadron. But the one you want to keep an eye on, North Alabama, Valdosta, that's the one California could possibly play the winner of if they go on to win here today.
Here comes Butler on another rush. Lazier gets it away in time, and it's a nice completion. It'll be a first down for Shepherd. They're not backing down, Joe, I'll tell you. I mean, as impressive as a performance for California, we both said Shepherd could be a little bit overrated, but, they're moving the ball against Cal.
Pass complete to number 10.
Well, they have, and they've gotten the ball out quickly when the pressure has come there. You can see Gary Butler's coming backside again. And it's a gamble, and right now, in their crapshoot, they're rolling 7s and 11s.
Right, yeah.
This has been a very long drive. This drive started at 9:58. It's been well over 5.5 minutes now.
That play flips sides, comes into a strong I formation now. They'll motion Springer to the near side and hand off to Wallace. A little cutback doesn't matter right there. Coming off the end was Butler. Puts a big hit on Wallace. And it'll be second and goal from the 4.5-yard line. Watch Butler's hit right here. Ooh, got him right on the hip. Brought him down.
And the last time in this situation we saw California, they bent a little bit. They let the hole open for Wallace to run through. See if they really tighten things up and don't give him that lane off between the guards and the tackles.
54 is subbing into the game for California. That is, I'll get that for you in a second. Shotgun formation. Lazier dropping back, looks over the center into the end zone. That's caught by Lavin for the touchdown. Shepherd not going away quietly. Ryan Lavin answers with Lazier. 37-23 now with 3:27 on the clock in the third quarter. Seth Job had checked in the game for California. That may be his error, as if that was zone coverage. That was right over his head.
And it was. You can see Job fall down. He stays on his feet. He goes up elevated. He's going to bat that pass away. Instead, it ends up being a touchdown for Shepherd, and they're only going to be down looking at 13 as long as this extra point is good. And so still plenty of time left, and that's what it is, a 13-point deficit. California, the offense now, they've got to come back. And they're going to want to answer at this point.
37-24, Vulcans leading. Joe, this is the most points anybody scored on California this season, but I will say this. How long do you expect to go before you finally meet an opponent who can do something? I mean, California haven't had a game with anybody all season. Finally, Shepherd's trying to make a contest of this, and it still is tilted pretty heavily in the favor of the Vulcans. There's another look at Lavin's touchdown grab. It was right over the head of Job, so that will go down as his error, and they sub him in. I'm not sure why they made that substitution, because it cost them in the end, but, I mean, you could see my point, Joe. Yeah. Eventually, somebody's got to give California
I think they subbed them in
to worry about.
They subbed them in to get fresh players on the field. That was a 15-play drive that went 87 yards and lasted 6.5 minutes. And as far as I'm concerned, the touchdown never should have happened, because the Trey Allen pass interference call was a phantom call. That really, even staring directly at the play, seeing it on replay, I still can't figure out why the flag came in. But the defense, they're going to respond now. the thing I'm interested, this is the longest break the offensive line has had to come out on the field. They're a little bit rested, is the California offense. And we'll see how that line starts to work, see if they can push around this defense for Shepherd.
What's big is the Shepherd defense also got some rest, which they badly needed. This one fielded by Deontay Henry. He has some space to work with and makes a nice cut, trying to make the most of a rare return for him. He'll be tackled by John Sheehan at the 41-yard line, and that's where Joe Ruggiero and the Vulcan offense come on for their third drive of the third quarter.
Josh, I think the thing to look at right now is both teams have run 50 offensive plays in this game. Shepherd 173 yards of offense, California 355 yards of offense in this game already. And they really show no signs of slowing down.
I formation. Williams follows Johnson up the gut. Picks up an even 3. And the ball will be placed at the 45 for second down and 7. Tackle made by 25, Lewis Corum for the Rams.
You see Williams, that's just a huge hole to run through. And if somebody gets a hat on one of those two linebackers, Williams might break that for even more. But the offensive line, they're doing their job. They're giving him the space. And Williams still out there. I think the next possession we'll see Wendell Brown again.
4-3 defense for the Rams. Ruggiero has force in the slot, covered by a linebacker to his right. They hand it off to Williams, though. He cuts to the outside, but a good read on the play by Joey Hooks doesn't fall for Williams' juke move and stops him at the 50, where it'll be third down and 2.
Well, and this is a big third down for California now. The defense was on the field for a long time. You don't want to come back out, go 3 and out, and put them right back on the field, even though chances are you're probably going to pin Shepherd deep. You want to pick up this first down and give them at least another minute or 2 on the sidelines to catch their breath, talk a little strategy, although they've broken their huddle.
And I do think California's going to put this one on the ground, Joe, but again, we've been wrong a lot in this game. Maybe this is the place to throw to try to catch Shepherd off guard. Ruggiero does drop back. Passes it to Slappy, a little hook route over the middle. It is complete for a first down. Slappy breaks away from one tackler. It's Mike Spiegelberger, who has some words for Slappy after the play. First down, Vulcans, and Sean Johnson will check back in.
And just a well-designed play. Slappy goes over the middle, turns back, finds his quarterback, sits down in the middle of 3 defenders.
Yeah, that's a bold delivery.
It is, but at the same time, it's not a risky one, as the zone's so wide open. Ruggiero's going to deliver that ball hard enough that nobody's going to be able to step in front of it.
High formation. Nate Force on the near side of the field in single coverage against Smith. That a big size mismatch if they look that way. It is a play fake. Ruggiero goes deep to the right. It's for Jermaine Moy, and he brings it in for the touchdown, California. What a grab by Jermaine Moy. Almost an identical play to what Nate Force and Joe Ruggiero did last week against the Owls of Southern Connecticut. A nice lob and an acrobatic grab by Moy coming under the defender to jump up and grab that ball.
Oh, and Moy almost brought one earlier in the game, and this one he does. And it's just a great toss and catch. Ruggiero throws it where only Moy's going to come away with it over the outside shoulder. You're going to see a great look of it here. And just hand fighting. There's no interference on either side. Both players, just hand checking each other. It was Teros Harris that got beaten for California. This is the most amount of points they've put up against a good, respectable defense.
44-24 after Lorenz makes the extra point. California continues to put the points on the board and strike back. Will the Rams have an answer? Find out next on CUTV.
What makes an honor student? Is it a paper chase for a diploma? Or is it building the character to do the right thing as well as the smart thing? For decades, California University of Pennsylvania has prepared students for successful careers and meaningful lives by defining honor in terms of integrity, civility, and responsibility. So our students graduate with a diploma and a degree of character.
The Division II student-athlete experience emphasizes academic and athletic excellence. From Olympic-style sports festival championships to community-focused partnerships, Division II schools are moving forward with a new attitude. Learning, service, passion, sportsmanship, resourcefulness, and balance. These are the attributes of student-athletes, coaches, administrators, and alumni and fans who say with pride, I chose Division II.
En route to the first 100 receiving yard day of his career, Jermaine Moy's 6 catches and 108 yards were capped off by a touchdown on that last possession for California. They lead 44-24 now over the Rams. Ensuing kickoff is fielded by Steele. He has some space. Not another special teams lapse for California. It is prevented by the last man possible. Guy Hurt chases down Steele from behind, and the Rams will have excellent starting field position from the Vulcan 40 with an offense that doesn't need a lot of help the way they've been moving the ball against Cal.
No, they don't. And, I don't know where that one came. They just got some good blocking against California. And the thing California's done in this game, they've really kicked left or right. All season long, they've just gone right down the middle of the field and then gone down and covered. They've really tried moving the ball around, and Lorenz has got to get a little more air under the ball. I understand it's cold. Don't worry about how deep it goes. Pop one up. Put it to the 20-yard line. Put air under it. Let your guys get downfield to make the play.
1:17 in the third quarter, and what has probably been the slowest moving third quarter California's seen all season, as they just have not been able to put the ball on the ground and control the clock. They got to keep fighting offensively. Kirby Griffin gets Leisure as he gets by the line of scrimmage, so it will not be a sack, just a tackle for Kirby. He's been pretty quiet in today's contest, and Leisure really makes the best of a bad play right there.
Well, Griffin's been quiet because he's so good. He's been drawing a double team on that defensive line.
That's probably what's freeing up Butler.
And that's what's freeing up Gary Butler, is the fact that Griffin's eating up a guard and a tackle, or a tackle and a tight end pretty much every down.
Single back formation. Lavin switches to the far side where he'll be the tight end. Maybe they look for the run that way. Instead, Leisure drops back to pass, and that could be pass interference easily. It will be. Jake Howell hasn't had a lot of experience in coverage this season. That time he was on Dan DePalma, and DePalma was held up by Howell. That draws the ire of the officials, the yellow flag, and this will be a couple of free yards for the Rams. Well, and I don't know what they're talking about. It's blatant pass interference.
Yeah, it was pass interference. But here's the thing that's bothering me about this game.
Pass interference, defense, number 35. Penalize that spot of the foul, automatic first down.
The thing that's starting to bother me about this game, this is the 8th penalty against California right now. I find it hard to believe Shepherd has not committed a single error on the field throughout this game that they should not have been flagged for. There's a couple that we've seen that were pretty obvious that didn't go down, but I'm sure there's more been going on the field.
Well, what can you say? At least at this point, it's not affecting the outcome of the game. Yeah, California's margin isn't as great as they may like, but at the same time, California's made some errors that they shouldn't have made. Leisure calls DePalma in motion. He'll be lined up in the slot. Leisure passing again. Butler gets blocked and then puts a big blow on Leisure, breaking up that pass before it even finishes, leaving Leisure's hands. Gary Butler having one of the best games of his career today in terms of pass rushing.
Oh, he has been. You can see right there. They try to cut him down. That doesn't work. You can't block him straight up because he's just pushed you out of the way or gone around you. So you try to trip him up and he jumps over you. And Leisure gets that one away. It's batted at the line. But for Tyler Leisure, how many times has he been hit today now? At least 8 on the board. He's been hit at least 3 or 4 other times as well.
Butler's going to be the rush end again. Leisure drops back. Burns is right in his face, and Springerth has to shore him on it. Trey Allen puts a little bump on Springerth after the play.
Did you hear the coaches yell?
They should have been yelling, because that could draw another flag that would be unnecessary. Those penalties that went away last week have certainly returned in this game. Leisure couldn't have liked what he saw in Darren Burns in his face as he turned around to get rid of that pass.
Well, no, he couldn't have. And you talk about the penalties. Yeah, they came back for California, 8 of them, but it's only 60 yards. They're nowhere near the 80 yards in penalties a game that they had averaged up until last week.
They may get there. There's still a quarter left, yeah.
But still, they've been in situations too. 2 of them have hurt them. The other 6 haven't been that big of a deal.
Shotgun formation, 20 seconds in the third quarter, 3rd and 10. Leisure drops, dumps it out to Dervin Wallace on the sideline. He makes a man miss, and he'll get into the end zone for the Rams touchdown. Shepherd is not going away in this thing. Some blown coverage right there. Wallace open in the flat. You know, that's the first time they've looked at him in that position all game, Joe, and that's a good play because he's the type of guy, if there's anyone you want to get it to in the flat, he has the moves to make things happen in open field.
Here's the thing with Dervin Wallace. On every other passing down I've seen in this game, he's run to the sidelines and stopped. That's the first time he's ever gone downfield to actually run a route. And you know, you got a guy that has 2,000 yards rushing on the season. You got to think he's going to have 500-600 yards receiving. He only had 200 yards receiving coming into this game, so he's not a big weapon in the passing game. And I started to understand why is for the fact that he just doesn't run routes. He runs to the sideline. The play doesn't go to him. He doesn't seem to care. But that one, he runs the route. He gets open for a touchdown.
Beveridge makes it 44-31. Shepherd trailing, not going away in this ball game. We'll be back with the fourth quarter after this on CU.
The Division II student-athlete experience emphasizes academic and athletic excellence. From Olympic-style sports festival championships to community-focused partnerships, Division II schools are moving forward with a new attitude. Learning, service, passion, sportsmanship, resourcefulness, and balance. These are the attributes of student-athletes, coaches, administrators, and alumni and fans who say with pride, I chose Division II.
What makes an honor student? Is it a paper chase for a diploma? Or is it building the character to do the right thing as well as the smart thing? For decades, California University of Pennsylvania has prepared students for successful careers and meaningful lives by defining honor in terms of integrity, civility, and responsibility. So our students graduate with a diploma and a degree of character.
Fields the kickoff, has some space at the 35-yard line. He'll be tripped up, however, by number 14, John Sheehan, his second special teams tackle of the day. Shepherd, Joe's, they keep answering back on California. Something we talked about at the beginning of the game was don't get involved in a shootout with California because, I mean, their offense, we knew they were high-powered, and a lot of people out there knew California had the ability to pass like they do. We kind of figured it was there all season. They just hadn't gone to it. And we thought it might be a bad idea for Shepherd to get involved in a shootout, and that it may be, but at the very least, they're opening some eyes and maybe exploiting some holes. California could fix them in time before they get to a game like maybe a team next week, and not to say that this game's written off, but if California moves on, certainly some work to do in practice to improve upon what they've done today in coverage.
Well, they do, and that's the reason that Shepherd has 31 points. There's been a ton of blown coverages from California. Guys have got open that quite frankly shouldn't have been open. There's been passes completed that never should have been completed. I can think of that. The third down and 16 play. That ball, turn around, bat it down. There hasn't been one beat over the top on California. Everything's been underneath, come back to the ball, underneath, come back to the ball.
And it might go back to Lazier's arm strength. And I'm not going to say he's one of the premier quarterbacks in the Northeast even, but he hasn't made mistakes out there today. And that's the first time, at least through this point in the game, we can say all season we've seen a quarterback that hasn't killed his team with turnovers. Lazier's not making dumb decisions out there. And Shepherd's offense, I'm going to give them credit. Coming into this game, I really didn't think they were all there cracked up to be putting up big numbers against some lackluster Wivac defenses, and Dervin Wallace running against those teams, Lazier throwing against them. Shepherd's offense knows how to score, whether they have the playmakers out there or not. Ruggiero drops back. He's going to go deep. Out for Nate Force. Force makes a guy miss and then is pushed out of bounds by Joey Hooks. Hooks has been in on a lot of tackles in today's game. Force has his second reception. This a California first down, spotted at the 35-yard line of the Rams. We got time for one more play in the third quarter.
Well, we will with 0.2 seconds left and going out of bounds. The clock stopped. And for Force, very quiet in the first half. No catches now. That's actually the third one of the second half. He's up over 40 yards.
Shotgun formation. Go ahead, Joe.
I would say it's 44 yards after that catch. So, Force gets it around and, gets his concentration back. And he's been running some good routes here in the second half.
Low snap, handoff to Wendell Brown. Watch out. He can make something happen again. Look at that speed. Breaks through some more tacklers. Carries, got the end zone. He fumbles in the end zone. And he falls on his own ball for the California touchdown. Wendell Brown gives everybody in this stadium a heart attack, fumbling the ball at the goal line, but there is a flag in the backfield.
Penalty flag on the play.
And I don't know if it's going to come back or not. And they're signaling that it's on Shepherd. California looks pretty happy that it's going to be against the Rams. Unsportsmanlike conduct against Shepherd, so it was after the play, the touchdown counted.
And a succeeding kickoff. Who's on?
I didn't realize the official went to his microphone there, but for Wendell Brown, this is 3 carries in 2 games now. We've seen go for 40-plus yards and a touchdown from. It's been the same play that stretched to the left every time. He makes a couple of guys miss, and very fortunate to fall on that, as it would have been a touchback for Shepherd.
Let me tell you something. When we get a chance, I'm going to take another look at that run. Wendell Brown is really starting to impress me as a running back here for California. Other than the fact that he's had some fumble issues here in the last couple of weeks. That one very scary. Last week he fumbles one at about the 1 or 2 yard line that ended up giving the ball to Southern Connecticut State when California was looking at points. Lorenz comes onto the field for the extra point. Talk about a shootout, folks. This is unlike one we've seen at Adamson Stadium all season. Not that close, but a lot of points. 51-31, California leading. I'd like to take another look at that run when we get a chance.
And how about this? Wendell Brown, 6.
Right here, Joe. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's where I said uh-oh and realized he might be able to break away. How is he not tackled right there? Runs into that pile of guys and converges, and he comes through the better man.
It's his speed. You can see there. Everybody was converging on him. He got through the hole before it closed down. And I'd love to know his 4.4 or his 40 time. I got to think Wendell Brown runs at 4.4 speed, maybe under 4.4 speed, based on what we've seen the last 2 weeks. How about 6 carries, 118 yards, and 4 of those 6 carries are touchdowns for Wendell Brown.
With that, let's go down to the sideline for our reporter, Stephanie Smith.
Hey guys, for the 2nd straight year, California senior Tim McCutcheon has been selected as one of the 8 national finalists for the Gene Upshaw Award, which is presented annually to the top offensive or defensive lineman in Division II. Now, McCutcheon is the only Cal player to have ever been selected for this award, and 2 times in a row makes it even better. But guys, also, as we know, the winner of this game will face either Valdosta State or North Alabama. Valdosta won the meeting between them earlier this season, and the last score update we got at the end of the first quarter, Valdosta was winning 14-9. So guys, back up to you.
Wendell Brown, 6 carries, 115 yards, 3 touchdowns. Joe,
took one back off.
It's going to be ever evident that next season there's certainly going to be some sort of running back controversy, but maybe a good one. You might see 2,000-yard rushers next year. You're probably going to see 3 guys all over 600 or 700 yards. What a good problem to have, especially in a year where you're going to be first season after not having Joe Ruggiero, who's been your leader for the last 2 or 3 seasons. It'll be great that California has those 3 weapons to go to on the ground, and the lack of, and this is not to discredit whoever comes in next year and takes over the job, but certainly the new quarterback's going to take some time to get used to the offense.
Well, they have a guy in the transfer from the University of Virginia. I apologize if you're watching. I just cannot recall your name right now. He's been on the practice squad all season, redshirted. So he's going to know the offense by that point. He just won't have the execution down because he hasn't run the offense in a game situation, Josh. And that's how you take care of kick coverage there. You get the penalty, kick from the 45, and just boot it 7 yards deep in the end zone.
Who knows what's going to happen next season. This one's not over, but at the very least, we should have a lot of fun watching those 3 guys carry the ball. Pass out into the flat. Leisure in the passing attack for the Rams, not backing down. Tackle made by Darren Burns right there. Springearth gets the completion down to the 25-yard line. Just underway here in the 4th quarter, 14:54 on the clock. The Rams trail by 20, but they continue to drive the ball down the field and get themselves back into within manageable range. Or if they can't stop California, it's not going to matter how many points that they score.
California, they put up 24 in the 3rd quarter. I think that's the thing that surprises me most, is they were able to, that's 4 scores on 4 possessions, one of them a field goal.
Snap goes to Leisure. He looks right all the way, completes that one at Nasser Muhammad.
Is that a fumble?
He is drilled by Terrence Johnson. Ball knocked free, and it'll be 3rd down and 4 now. Watch this hit on Muhammad.
It's a big hit, and I'll tell you what, this one very close to being a catch and a fumble. You know what? That's a catch and a fumble, Josh. He took a couple of steps after that ball was secured in the hands. But either way, goes down as an incomplete pass. Grand Valley extended their lead going into the half 27-0. And North Alabama came back, put up a touchdown on Valdosta. Still a lot of time left in the first half of that game. 16-13 North Alabama on top.
And Northwest Missouri State 9-0 over Shadron early in the first. Lazier has to take a timeout, and I'm glad they did because I wanted to make a point about that as we look through the brackets here. If you're a California fan, you want to hear that 16-13 North Alabama over Valdosta hold up, because all indications point to the fact that if North Alabama wins as the 2 seed, California should get a home game if they prevail in today's contest, which it's looking pretty good right now. Central Washington losing to Grand Valley State by a hefty margin currently. That game won't affect California until perhaps the national final if the Vulcans are lucky to get that far.
And then the other one, Northwest Missouri State, they're looking to go on for a rematch of last year's national championship game against Grand Valley State. You think anybody from Northwest Missouri State is going to open their mouth and give them board material?
And that would give them some fuel for the fire in the national semifinal. And as we said, look at that Elite 8 bracket. Pretend California moves on. I think this 20-point lead will hold. If North Alabama wins, I'd almost guarantee that the game will be at Adamson Stadium next week. If Valdosta wins, it's a toss-up about where it's going to be played. And if Valdosta does move on and the game is here, California's got to have a huge advantage just for the fact of the temperatures.
Well, and here's the thing about that, too. If the game, if California does go on to win, the Northeast region hasn't hosted a semifinal game in I don't know how long, probably since IUP back in the 90s. And this is the first time they've had a team ranked higher in the nation, so things are shaping up for them.
Lazier rolling out, gets drilled again. That time Kirby Griffin gets himself familiar with Lazier for the first time. Joe, I think you summed it up best during the last break. He's going to be black and blue and in a lot of pain in the morning. Lazier's taking some big shots today from guys like Butler and Burns and Griffin. Here's Kirby right here letting Lazier know who he is, and that one falls innocently to the turf. For the fourth or fifth time today's game, a duck has folded up that no Vulcan has run under.
And Tyler Lazier, he may take his uniform pants off later and might not notice the difference in the bruises that are underneath in terms of the color. And Jermaine Moy not returning this punt.
Beach gets that one away, and it will be 25 back there for California. Tim Patrick, he lets it flutter to the sideline and out of play. So Ruggiero and the offense take over at, looks like the 37-yard line. 14:37 on the clock. And for once in this half, California's D holds Shepherd's offense.
Oh, they did. And, I'm perfectly fine with Jermaine Moy coming off there to return the punt. He's actually on the bike on the near side, so maybe the legs tightened up a little bit, and he's just trying to loosen up again. But, he's a guy, 6 catches, 108 yards, and a touchdown. And if there is somebody, maybe there's a slight injury at this point, you can go without him. He can come back if you need him, but if you can win this game without him at this point on, I think you're okay.
Williams is in the game. Little stretch play, they go to him. He cuts back up the middle, runs it for 2 or 3, and it looks like Joey Hooks was in on another tackle, stopping Dane Williams right there. It'll be 2nd down and 7 now from the 42-yard line. Joe, I would be honest with you, I would love to see Wendell Brown come back into the game and get a few more carries. He amazes me with his speed out there, especially his size. He's about Lombardi's size.
He's 6 foot, 200 pounds.
And is clearly the fastest runner that California has.
And I'm surprised he wasn't moved to wide receiver or something along those lines just for the depth at running back. But I think the coaching staff's got to be glad they kept him where he was at now.
And off to Williams. Nice cut back up the middle. Dane Williams spins off one man. He'll be tackled by the second coming in to finish that play. Guess who? Joey Hooks. Another tackle for him. 3rd down and 1 now from the 47-yard line. Boy, Hooks is a ball hawk today, wrapping up Williams right there for another tackle. We don't have tackles on the stat sheet in front of us, Joe, but I'd have to say he's got at least a half dozen. Yeah, up at least a half dozen. I say that, you say about 10. I think that's a very safe bet. He's been all over the field today. I formation. Force comes into motion, perhaps signifying a run to the right. That will be the case. Williams breaks free, spins off one man, and someone got his ankle. Looked like it was number 50 down there. It's actually 30. That'd be Walter Govea for Shepherd. 13:05 on the clock. California moving the ball now, and alas, they seem content to keep it on the ground, Joe, and take some clock with them as they go down the field.
And the thing is, California picks up that type of yardage with basically 10 guys in the box against them. You go back to that last play, you can see how everybody was sucked up to the line of scrimmage, never once believing Cal was going to drop back and throw that ball.
Force in the slot on the far side. Johnson move a little bit early right there. He'll get away with it. Williams tries to go off tackle. He's run down by Joey Hooks as well as Tamos Harris. He's bumped out at the 43-yard line. That's where it'll be 2nd down and 7 for Cal now. 12.5 to play in the 4th quarter.
I don't think Dane Williams quite wanted to go out of bounds. And Josh, exactly 139 yards now for Dane Williams. I think that last carry took him over. And it did as everything updates here. So Dane Williams now over 1,000 yards on the season in 4 starts, and really only a 5th game played that he played excessively in that Blockhaven game.
Yeah, that's an amazing season for Dane Williams. Off the heels of the Brandon Lombardi injury, put up some huge numbers. And there's a nice run by Williams again for 2 or 3 more. Nice sturdy back going into the pile right there, absorbing some contact and falling forward on the defenders. Tackle made by Mitch Maines at the 40-yard line. 3rd down and 5 now for California. 11.5 to play. So, with every play, they're ticking about 40, 50 seconds off the clock, and that's exactly what California wants at this point.
And especially for a second half that has lasted very long to this point in time. It's been, the clock was slow, just so much scoring. 38 points in the 3rd quarter.
High formation again. And this one is going to be whistled dead. I'm not sure if the play clock expired. I think it may have.
Or did California take the timeout from the sidelines?
I think you're right. It was a timeout, California. Let's go back to the brackets while we have a second. And it's getting to the point in the game now with 11 minutes, Joe, where we can really begin to speculate at what California is looking at facing the rest of the season. You and I both tend to think that no matter what, California will host next week, whether it be Valdosta or Northern Alabama. And, I say the fans want to root for North Alabama. I think they might be a slightly weaker team, and they'd almost guarantee that California hosts. Valdosta, I did some scouting. I looked at them. In terms of playmakers, they're a run-and-gun style of team. They do not have a great running back. Their passing attack is probably a little bit better than anything Cal's seen all season. They have a receiver in Cedric Jones, their sophomore, who is on pace to set a lot of school records there. In fact, I think he already has a couple in his sophomore season. That's something a little different than California has seen all season.
Well, it has, and let's face it, the rest of the country plays a different style of football than what you see in the Northeast, and part of the reason is that there are less, big schools. There's a lot of Division I schools in the North Central, Northeast regions. There aren't quite as many down south. You'd have the big names that are always up there.
Slappy gets that completion out of bounds at the 40-yard line. But, yeah, continue going on about your point, Joe. I know what you mean. It's a lot more Pittsburgh Steelery in the Northeast. A lot of run, a lot of tough defense. You get around the rest of the country, and it's a lot about the passing game and the vertical attack, and defenses aren't as much. It's more like the WAC conference out west where it's all offense. And I think Valdosta will bring a little different dimension to Adamson Stadium next week if they do prevail over North Alabama, or California will have to go there and experience firsthand Valdosta's, different perspective on football there in southern Georgia.
And that's if North Alabama
doesn't get by them.
Doesn't get by them. They're a team that I think California, and you definitely want them to win.
Williams breaks free again, spins off of Leighton Hirsch before being brought down by Joey Hooks again. So Hooks out of Watkins Mill in Montgomery Village, Maryland, continues to get familiar with California ball carriers. The 6', 225-pound senior outside linebacker having a terrific day in what appears to be probably his final game as a Shepherd Ram. If they can't make up this 20-point margin they trail by right now, Joey Hooks is going out with a bang. Lots of tackles today for him.
Oh, and that's if this margin doesn't get any bigger either. As California, they're really threatening to score here again, and they've done it all on the ground. But to go back to that North Alabama point, another reason I don't think they would host a home game in the semifinals is their home field is the site in Florence, Alabama, of the finals, the championship game. And I really think that would be poor management by the NCAA to give them basically a home game in the semifinals and then the chance again to have a home game in the national championship game, a game really that should be played at a neutral site.
It just seems unlikely. Look at the season schedules for these two teams. California this season, they have run through all their opponents. The only teams that really gave them trouble, IUP gave them some trouble early in the game, but that ended up being a 38-12 win. Joe, you were at the Lockhaven game. You saw it firsthand. California just never really turned it on in that one. Their defense was okay, but the offense didn't look that great against Lockhaven. Like I said, you saw it firsthand. And then Slippery Rock, that game was tight for the sheer fact that Cal lost a lot of momentum when Brandon Lombardi went down in that game. But, it's been all downhill from there. California's been smooth sailing.
Yeah, and that Slippery Rock game, I think if you got to highlight any game on that schedule, that's the one I highlight right now as being the one that California really could have lost. The offense took care of what they needed to, and the defense really stepped up once Lombardi went down in that game.
For all your sporting news information about the California Vulcans, www.calvulcans.com on every sport, and especially Cal football. Any information you need has been posted on the website on www.calvulcans.com. Dane Williams fumbles the ball. Looks like California will fall on it. I saw number 71, Melker, and McCutcheon chasing it down over there. Noland on top of the drop by Dane Williams, so that's not going to hurt California too bad. Williams' first fumble, I think, since he's been a starter.
He fumbled once at Lockhaven on a goofy play where he fumbled the ball and ended up going into the end zone, and he fell on it for a touchdown.
So it's 2nd down and 7 now.
California ended up getting 2 extra yards out of that, too. 2nd and 7. You know things are going your way when you fumble the ball and pick up more yardage.
Yeah. So California against Shepherd today. You saw on their schedule 13 was the largest number you had seen up there. That will change today. Shepherd scoring 18 more points than anybody else has this season against the Vulcans. Williams gets another carry. This one down inside the 12 or 13 yard line. Appeared to be enough for a first down. I don't see the chain gang moving just yet. And now they'll tell him to go ahead and mark it off down the field. So California can get a first down if they get to the 1 or 2 yard line. Williams is tackled right there by Walt Gavea. He's also had a pretty good deal of tackles in today's game, 4 or 5, I'd say, at least for him.
And Josh, this is the drive California wanted to start the fourth quarter, now eating up 5+ minutes of clock time. And especially to be now at the 11-yard line, a chance to put more points on the board. It's still a 3-score game. This one could really make it a 4-score game, put it out of reach.
I don't doubt California gets to 60 in today's contest. Williams again, he's such a tough runner, low center of gravity. First or second tackler has a whale of a time bringing Williams down. They will not right there. It takes the third man to come into the play to stop him. In this case, that was Spiegelberger. Again, Williams breaks 1 or 2 tacklers. Joey Hooks even had to drag him by the feet for Spiegelberger to come in and finish it off. Here you see Perry Ivory coming to the sideline. His services won't be needed in the goal line situation. He's a receiving threat, not a great blocking wideout for Cal. Might have to develop into that next season, though, as he'll see a lot of minutes.
And next season, he'll be the number 2 wide receiver behind Joe Slappy.
Williams goes up the middle right here, lunges toward the goal line. He's stretched out. I'm not sure if the knee was down before the ball crossed. They say he is down, so it's going to be on about the inch line. Cal gets a first down, however, so it's 1st and goal now. Kirby Griffin comes on the field, and so does big number 60 for the Vulcans. That is Bo Stanger. First time we've seen him come into the game all season. And at 6'4", 320 pounds, Stanger clearly in there for blocking purposes, a guy that we have not seen much of all season.
Well, he was a transfer from Central Michigan, a guy that I thought was going to be a starter on this line this year, but this is the first time we see him, and we'll see what he does in there. I mean, he's a huge guy. He's a force.
And they won't follow Griffin this time. They'll go with Sean Johnson. Williams crosses the goal line. Touchdown, Vulcans. And this lead has just increased to 57 now. Like I said, I do not doubt that California gets to 60 in this thing. 7:57 on the clock. We have a flag on the field. This probably going to be an unsportsmanlike against Dane Williams. And that'll just make Lorenz's extra point a little bit more difficult. Coach Luckhart, he had a couple words for us on the sideline. A congratulatory hug, but then a pat on the butt saying, we really don't need that in a game like this. See if he can catch the penalty right there.
Well, yeah, that's a weak flag for the same fact the guy shouldn't be riding 15 yards downfield after he already scored. So I will continue my protest of today's officiating.
And correction, that penalty yardage will be tacked on the kickoff. So Lorenz's extra point still from the 3. TJ Martinak, the holder for Tyler Lorenz. We haven't spoke much of him all season, but Lorenz couldn't have had the season he's had without Martinak getting these balls on the ground for Lorenz. That extra point is perfect. Again, Tyler Lorenz makes it 58-31. Cal leads. We're going to go to a commercial break. California going to try to cap off today's big game when we come back right here on CUTV.
There's a university where success is more than a paper chase for a degree. One that builds the kind of character that can help you do the right thing as well as the smart thing. Where core values of integrity, civility, and responsibility are not just taught, but integrated into your day-to-day experience. California University of Pennsylvania.
The Division II student-athlete experience emphasizes academic and athletic excellence. From Olympic-style sports festival championships to community-focused partnerships, Division II schools are moving forward with a new attitude. Learning, service, passion, sportsmanship, resourcefulness, and balance. These are the attributes of student-athletes, coaches, administrators, and alumni and fans who say with pride, I chose Division II.
58-31, Vulcans lead over the Rams. Shepherd will get the ball back, and the penalty is being assessed on this kickoff. Dane Williams' little celebration after his second touchdown of the game. Williams has 33 carries for 179 yards today now. He's getting close to those numbers he had last game. One more big drive, and he'll be there. Lorenz kickoff is going to fall at the 34-yard line where Dervin Wallace will field it. He is a dangerous returner. But that time he'll be muffed by Matt McClellan for California. First tackle he's had on special teams today. I'll tell you, Williams fielding it with such a short field to work with, you get a little worried that he might make something happen again.
Well, you're doing. I think California's going to continue to do what they've done the last couple of drives, and that's going to be bringing the pressure. It's been Burns and Butler on the outsides. I think you see one or maybe both of those guys, but I think you're going to see some pressure come up the middle. Josh Zunick, a guy who really hasn't gotten into the backfield much, but I can fully, well, not on this play, obviously. He's on the sidelines as California then go into that nickel defense, bring the extra defensive back out. But you're going to see different guys start to bring pressure now.
Motion on the right side. It's Sheehan going into the slot. Lazier drops back. Wallace open in the flat. He'll unload it to him. Wallace bobbles it, and it falls to the turf. Coming out to put a hit on him was double dubs Willie Walker. Derwin Wallace wanted no piece of that, and he short arms that one. Walker shakes his hand and said, yeah, you're lucky you didn't catch that.
And, again, Gary Butler gets into the backfield eventually. You got to see him fight off a block there. He pushes, spin moves right around, and then gets picked off by the fullback. But Butler, he's a big dog with a little dog mentality. He's that little yipper that doesn't stop no matter how many times you kick it away.
Yeah.
He just doesn't quit coming.
And the backups are in the game now for California, Joe. A lot of new numbers on the field for the Vulcans, getting some valuable playoff experience. Wallace will carry a man on his back. I believe that's Walker. So Walker does get his hands on Wallace in this play. That'll be a 3rd down and 4, ball at exactly the 50-yard line. They need to get to the 46 for a first. And Walker brings down Wallace after 6.
Oh, and it's 4-down territory the rest of the way, no matter where you're at. If you're Shepherd, you've got to put points on the board. It's a 27-point game, but you've got to believe you're in it still. No matter how much in or out of it you are, you've got to believe. And, your season's done at the end of the day unless you put up more points than California does now. So you're going to play till the last whistle.
Springerth goes into motion on the far side, handoff to Wallace. An interesting call to run it on 3rd and 5 at this stage in the game when you've had some success passing. 6:50 on the clock in this 4th quarter, and Matt McClellan is going to be shooed by the official for his jawing. take a look at the replay, Joe, and, like I said, the run on 3rd and 5, I don't know about that call.
I don't know about running on any down right now with under 7 minutes to go and a 27-point deficit. I think you've got to continue to throw the ball as it's been effective for you, and they're not even going to go for it. They're going to punt.
Well, I guess that's the number one sign that the white flag has been raised for the Shepherd Rams.
Well, now I think California, Shepherd's going to take a timeout to talk about it. I don't know if they really knew what they wanted to do. And, well, this little score update here. North Alabama, Valdosta, they're knotted up at 16 at the half. I wish we had a way to see that game once we get out of here. Obviously, we're going to be done before they are.
Grand Valley State continuing to make the lives miserable of Central Washington, and they brought that upon themselves, you could say, based on the talk on the boards. Well, and 16-0 Northwest Missouri State over Shadron.
And Grand Valley played their closest game of the season last week. It was only a 21-14 victory over North
Dakota. A formidable opponent, though.
You got to think back, 40 games. That's the last team that actually beat Grand Valley State. So, they always play a tough game, those two schools, when they meet up. And then Northwest Missouri State, I think you mentioned 16-0 over Chadron State, who is a number 1 seed, but maybe as a number 1 seed, not quite as good as warranted.
Grand Valley State, the number 1 reason why the formula is wrong. They get a number 2 seed despite 2 straight national championships.
And a 39-game win streak.
Yeah, I mean, come on. How did they not get the 1 seed in that region? Leisure drops back. Walker gets double-teamed. He can't get to the quarterback in time. Springerth catches it on the crossing route, and Guy Hurt will drop him at the 43-yard line. First down for the Rams. 6:20 on the clock in this game.
And they convert on 4th down. They keep this drive alive, but picking up 5-6 yards isn't going to do it at this point. You've got to go downfield. You've got to pick up 25-30 on a play. And, that one there, the pass protection was there. They gave Leisure time to throw, but I see no reason why California would back down.
Single back formation, sending Sheehan into motion into the near slot. Leisure stiff arms Guy, and then keeps it himself and scrambles, goes up the middle. I think Guy Hurt's in on that tackle. This is a good chance for Guy Hurt. We said earlier on special teams, showcase himself, try to crack the starting lineup next year with 3 linebackers graduating. Now out there in a playoff game, he's made himself felt. Tackles on the last 2 plays. Hurt trying to step into a starting role next year, Joe.
Well, and that's one thing for next year as well. But look at what happened this week. Brian Moore unable to play, and then you've got to have Jake Howell step in to start. He got some playing time last week, so he got his feet wet a week ago, and that's what's big about games, that when you get big leads, you can get guys out there and get them the experience.
Out into the flat. This pass gets completed to Springerth. He's shoved out of play.
Pass complete to 29.
By number 54 for California. That is going to be Seth Job. He's also out there for the first time in this game, assuming a role as one of the 3-4 backers. Deontay Henry also gets tied up with Springerth in the coverage right there. It was Job that came over to finish the play. 3rd down and 7 now, 4:48 on the clock. And the ball is on the 40-yard line. California's second-string defense not looking too bad against the starters of the Rams, who are, the clock not their friend at this point, and they're taking a lot of time getting these plays off. Leisure has got to get it over the head of Darren Burns, lobs one out to the far side, and for the first time in this game, Leisure threw one into no man's land, very much in danger of being intercepted right there by Juan Butler as the pass was thrown towards Durbin Wallace. And that was not Wallace, that was John Sheehan, and that one could have been intercepted by Juan Butler easily. Joe, you're waiting for it to happen. You say he puts a lot of air into those passes, doesn't really gun them in there.
You can see that one there. That ball hung up there for quite a while.
And Cal leads 58-31, 4th and 7 with 4:28 on the clock. Might be the last chance for the Rams here on 4th down if they can't convert this one. They're 1 of 2 on 4th down today. They dump it off into the flat to Durbin Wallace. Makes a couple of guys miss and lunges for the first down. Shepherd's initial reaction is that they have it. Nothing from the officials yet. We might see a measurement, if anything, here. I'm not sure how close he was. And now they give him the first down, so Shepherd's offense lives to throw a couple more plays.
And he had to get inside the 33. The spot is just inside the 30, well, almost to the 32. So, just enough before Cal could get him out of bounds for a first down.
1st and 10 from the 33-yard line now. 4:20 on the clock. And I don't know if Wallace must have gotten out of bounds because the clock has stopped. The way he lunged for the first down, I thought he stayed in, but they do freeze it. Lazier drops back from the single back now. He's going to try to keep it again, step up in the pocket and then throw. Completion to Lavin, who came back to the quarterback who was scrambling. Little hook route over the middle. That one good for 10 more. Another first. Guy hurt in on that stop with Juan Butler. Ryan Lavin, a good tight end for Shepherd in today's game. He's got, I think, 3 catches now for about 25 yards.
Well, and one thing, this California defense, they may want to be concerned about coming into next week. They've given up a lot of completions right over the middle of the field. And maybe not having Brian Moore in the lineup today does make that difference. Maybe he's that good back there in zone coverage that he takes away the middle of the field. But they're giving up a lot of completions. They're not big yardage plays, but they're ones that move the chains.
Trip wide receivers to Lazier's left. He'll play it right out into the flat, complete to Springerth. Springerth is tripped by Guy Hurt, who in relief of the starting backers has 4 or 5 tackles just on this drive. Springerth catches his 8th ball of the game, has about 77 yards now, and a good run after the catch right there for the lanky Mark Springerth.
Well, and this is a drive Shepherd obviously needed to score on. The problem was they couldn't take 4+ minutes to do it. This drive started with 7:51 on the clock. We're now down to 3:20, and they're still checking guys in and out of the field trying to run this play with the clock rolling.
Springerth actually went to the same high school as the linebacker Joey Hooks. They both attended Watkins Mill in Montgomery Village, Maryland. Roll out, Lazier has Springerth with him. He doesn't go for him though. Instead goes to the back of the end zone and has a touchdown. That one is completed to number 10, Nikolai Norell, on what I believe is his first reception of the game. It's actually his 3rd, so he's done that quietly. This one, a little bigger, goes for a touchdown. Extra points good. It'll be 58-38, and Cal still up 20, but 38, a lot of points allowed. Got to scare some people depending on who they face next week. Valdosta and Northern Alabama, both formidable offenses.
Yeah, and I'm still trying to figure out how the offense has really put up 31 points. I take the kickoff return out of there as being the 7 points put up, but I don't really know how they did it. California, they kind of killed themselves on 3rd and 4th down.
Extra point is good. Cal leads 58-38 over the Shepherd Rams. We'll take a commercial break and finish this one off right after this here on CUTV. Vulcans are up 20, 3:02 on the clock. They're going to have to be weary of an onside right here if they can, in fact, fall on it. It should be able of them to run this thing out. And, Joe, you and I were talking during the break, and we're going to have some time to talk about it here as this game winds to a close. We'll I'll elaborate a little more on it after the onside's kick, but at the very least, this Vulcan defense has something to worry about now, as there is a team out there in the Shepherd Rams that has shown others a formula of how to score on the Vulcan defense. I don't really know what it is, but they've shown them something.
Let that ball
Deep
go.
onside kick. Boy, that not Beveridge's best attempt at an onside. It'll be Vulcan football and an illegal procedure right there. Well, California takes over.
Now, how does this work? Usually the ball gets spotted at the 40 on a kickoff out of bounds. Where do you spot it when it goes out of bounds prior to the 40-yard line? You spot it where it went out at the 45. Okay.
So that formula has been laid, Joe, and they had a great running back, and Manful was the best running back California's faced at this point, and he had a good game, about 180 yards. Dervin Wallace today, only 51. Lazier, the least of the weapons on this Rams team, has gone 23 of 36 for 240 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. So is it a high-powered passing attack to beat California?
No, I think it's just one of those games, nobody's really thrown on California all season long. This is the first team to be successful throwing the ball, and they did it really by underthrowing the ball.
And in the guys they face, Zwan, Krewatch, Crookshank,
Harris.
Armstrong, Harris, all these great quarterbacks, and this guy, probably the least renowned of them all, comes in and has the best day against California through the air of any of the quarterbacks California's faced all season. Matt Humbert has come into the game for California, and they'll hand it off
Brandon Anderson
to Brandon Anderson right here. He'll run up the middle for a yard, and Humbert's going to try to help his team run the rest of this clock out. Humbert has served a solid 4 years here as the backup and starter at times for this Vulcan offense. Brandon Anderson comes into the game from Penn Hills in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 5'10", 195-pound sophomore running back. Really fifth on the depth chart coming into the season. He climbs up a little bit to fourth now in the absence of Brandon Lombardi and, for that matter, Freddie Bacco.
Yeah. And Anderson, a guy, too, that you don't – he's a special teams guy that you don't call his name unless he makes the play. He doesn't make the mistake on special teams. This is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. Anderson carries it up the middle again for about 3 more. It'll be 3rd down and 5 for California. 2 minutes on the clock. And a first down here will end the game. So California would like to convert here so they don't have to punt it away. And they may not. If they even get 2 or 3 here, they may go for it and try to pick up the first to end it. And people starting to filter out of Adamson Stadium right now. But I did say before the game that I expected an attendance record to be set today. What that record is, I don't know, but whatever it was, I'm sure it has been broken, as this place just about went to capacity today. You see a couple of empty seats in the bleachers, but that's about it. Everybody packed in tight here. And on the visiting sideline as well, Shepherd brought a nice conglomeration of fans up to attend today's contest.
That's the first time I've ever seen the visiting bleachers full here at Adamson Stadium. Humbert play action.
Yeah, he rolls, a little keeper. See if he can make a couple of guys miss. He picks up 3 or 4 yards. Leighton Hirsch came in to make the tackle. Humbert gets to the 41, 42-yard line. Maybe they go for this to try to get the first down. We have an injury on the near side of the field, so that might grind things to a halt here.
The injured Ram is Brian Taylor, number 58. He's slow to get up. I don't quite know what happened behind the play. But California, Josh, I don't think they're going for it here. The punt team's on the field. They're getting ready to go out. Only the second time Moore's punted today and second time in 2 games. And at the 41, he's going to kick from his own 45. I expect this one to be down, definitely inside the 20. They're in a position now. These guys for California on the outsides, they really get downfield quickly. And they're gunners. They're guys that are just great in coverage. And I believe we're going to take a look here at the play of the game eventually. But for California, that's Jason Moore coming on to punt. And you can see that offensive line standing around. They did their job today. 314 yards on the ground on 45 carries for California. You have 2 guys with 100 yards. Williams does it on 33 carries, 179. Wendell Brown does it on 6 carries for 115 yards.
Jason Moore to punt this thing away. And at one point this season, he was a nationally ranked punter in terms of his net. I think that remains the case. His leg has gotten ever powerful as the season has gone on. And that a nice high kick towards the end zone. California can't keep it out of the red.
Doesn't matter.
This one will come out to the 20, and it's going to be a personal foul. And I believe that'd be a California first down, right?
It will be. They absolutely drilled Jason Moore after he unloaded that ball. And, I understand you've got to bring the pressure, try to block this one here. If you can block it, take it into the end zone, you're right back in the game. But, they ran him over. I think he did a pretty good job acting as well.
Personal foul. Team number 41. That's a 15-yard penalty that results in automatic first down.
That should do it, Joe. Minute 08 on the clock. California gets a free first. So Shepherd's last breath gets clogged up with a yellow flag, and they will not see another offensive possession. Cal's going to be able to kneel this thing out and let the games begin. California has made their way into the national semifinal. Of course, for the first time in school history, California's in the playoffs this season, but probably going farther than anyone expected at the beginning of the season. They're going to kneel this clock out while we have a minute. I want to thank everybody at CUTV, Gary Smith and J.R. Wheeler, all of the hardworking students that have put in a great effort in this extended season of California Vulcan football coverage this season. So many of them, I don't have time to name them all, but this is the hardest working crew of students in any club I don't know about on this campus, but I'd say in a lot of schools across the country, to be dedicated to come out of here off of their Thanksgiving break early, give up their Saturdays, go on the road, and cover this team and all their success. This is the last time we'll bring you Vulcan football this season, but it certainly has been a pleasure. And I feel I speak for Stephanie Smith and Joe Rule when I say I thank all of you for watching us this season. It makes our efforts feel that much better that somebody out there is seeing them, and the fact that we could bring you the success story that this California Vulcan team has been all season has been a real pleasure for all of us. And Joe, you know, to sum things up, this season is not over. It is for us, but we're certainly, we now go from the booths into the stands and become fans and watch this team, see how far they can really go. What do you think? How far can this team go?
You know, I've been saying it the last couple of weeks, especially once they got to that 7-0, 8-0 point in the season. I don't know that this team knows how to lose. I don't know if it's an option for them, and it's got to be exciting. You know, it's exciting to be a part of this and to be a member of this team. These guys are doing something that no team, obviously in school history, has done before. They have a chance to do something really that very few teams in the region have ever done before. So, and the players they have, as Gary Butler goes to celebrate with the small crowd of students that have found their way to midfield. But, you know, we're going to sit back, and for the first time in my 5 years, I get to sit back and enjoy and watch a game next week, unless we end up doing it on radio, as the game will be on either ESPNU or ESPN2, more than likely next Saturday. It could be moved to Sunday, either 11 a.m. or 9 p.m. This is going to be the play of the game. This is that Wendell Brown touchdown run. Josh, and you know, this is the third time we've seen that same play go for 40-plus yards and a touchdown for him. There's something about it he likes. He does fall on at the end there, picks it up, even though he fumbled into the end zone. But, you know, check calvulcans.com, obviously, to know when and who California plays and where. We're under the assumption that game's going to be at home. I see no reason to believe it would be in North Alabama or Georgia. As I said, calvulcans.com. California, the first team to move on from the Elite Eight, updating you around there. Valdosta, North Alabama, still 16-all at the half. Northwest Missouri, Chadron 19-7 in the second quarter. And then Grand Valley, at least, you know, made Central Washington feel good about themselves by letting them score a touchdown. That game 34-7 halfway through the third quarter.
Well, there's a team out there in the Shepherd Rams, like I said, that has laid the groundwork for a way to potentially beat California, but that all remains to be seen. If somebody can get this Vulcan's team number, I don't know that there's anybody out there in this country that can beat California with the way they're playing right now. I guess we'll have to wait and see next week, and then perhaps the national finals. Yet again, it has been a real charm for Joe Rubel and I to bring you Vulcan football all season. My name is Josh Aegis, and for everybody at CUTV, thanks for being with us. Please come out and watch the Vulcans. Their season is not done. Hopefully, there'll be another playoff game next week right here from Madison Stadium. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next season.